Happy Sunday. Hello, friends. Look at that. I got more. I got more. Are y'all out of church? What are y'all doing? I really had to write my thoughts down before I lose them because they just be everywhere. Hey, okay. I had church. My babies really blessed me today. That's how I got more of these. I was telling them, I was like, I know nobody asked me, but these are my favorite candies. And then one of my babies walked up to me and gave me some. I didn't even know she had any. I was literally just telling them because I was asking them what they did, over the weekend. And I just love nerd gummy clusters. When I was little, I loved nerds. But these right here, I'm good. I wanted to tell y'all about that dream I had prior. Well, technically, this is the beginning of a new week, but I wanted to tell y'all about the dream going into like the new, what would be a work week for me, but it's not. Well, it's a work week. It's just not a traditional engineering work week for me. But it's a dream I had last week after that first or second live. Hey, girl. It was very personal to me, but what I'm realizing is like I feel bad because I told y'all I don't always like seeing how I've evolved, and I don't know if like this blanket of shame fell on me or what, but I thank God he's removing it. But I just haven't wanted to talk about my mess and like my bad decisions and the spots I found myself in, and I'm tired of talking about how bad people have treated me. Like I was just getting really, really tired of that narrative. And so to me, if I started sharing even more from those places, it felt like it was gonna like still trap me there. I was really struggling with that like the last couple of weeks. But even when I had told y'all last night, like I see so many people in the comments of the therapy videos I'll be watching, and I'm realizing like the strangers I have found in my obedience to being on the internet, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, especially the girls on TikTok, like those are people that God has connected me to. And, sharing my story, my voice, it matters to at least them. You may not feel like it matters to the people around you, like your family, they might not care, right? And half the time, like they're the people that was making the difference of heart for you. I'm not talking about like my in-house family, but you should never expect those people because like the prophet is always rejected in his hometown. You should never expect those people to want to listen to your voice, care about your voice. Like they're gonna reject you for multiple reasons, right? It could be because they know they're the villain. It could be because they're too busy comparing and why would God use you to do all that and bless you to do all that stuff? And we grew up the same. Like it don't matter what it is, or like in the scripture, it's like, oh, ain't that just Joseph and them, little boy, like who is Jesus? Like I remember having all those feelings way back when, but I never really dealt with all that. And so one of my prayers this year, if I'm being 100% honest, I'm going to be very honest. I was very specific with what I asked God for this year. One of my prayers was, Lord, help me get over my family and my friends. I was like, I don't even know why I'm saying that, but it was like once I prayed that, what he took me through, what I actually started dealing with, the stuff that was like surfacing, I was like, what? Because you don't realize how certain things are holding you back from your actual like calling and mission in life. And imagine if Jesus didn't do what Jesus was supposed to do because they didn't understand, they rejected him, whatever. And not even just Jesus, but definitely mainly Jesus, but everybody else who's supposed to do stuff. Like it really does come with it. But I was really struggling with that. And I tell y'all every time, like he told me years ago, you might as well get used to this. And I hadn't even did nothing yet. And I still feel like that now. Like I didn't even give it yet. And look how y'all acting. It's only going to get worse. So never expect, for real. I feel like you're really blessed if you get the love and support and encouragement and the I see you. Like, girl, I see you. I see how God is using you. I broke this nail earlier. Don't be mad if you don't get that from your hometown, your family, the people who've been following you on Facebook for years. Like, don't be mad about that. If you get it, if you don't get it from girls who watch you, like they don't miss a beat when it comes to you. They copy you. They don't support you, right? Like, don't feel bad about that. I really feel like that's just how it's supposed to be. And so when I prayed that prayer, it was so that I would show up on social media differently. And I think that's why I had started doing what I was doing on TikTok. And I had no shame. Like I could easily go on TikTok and talk about the stuff going on in my family because they don't follow me over there. And it's not because because some of that stuff I did share and put on the platforms where they do follow me, but it was like less pressure to be honest over there, or like less worried about somebody gonna see it. Cause my family messy, especially my daddy's side. Like pick up the phone, call, talk about whatever you posting, and it make me not want to post. And the last time it happened, I was telling my mom I was so frustrated, and she was like, "This is this year, like last month," and she was like, "Megan, but you're helping so many people," and I'm like, "I know, like I'm missing the point," which God convicted me about that this morning. It's girls that comment on my stuff and they needed to hear it. They resonate with it, no matter how many it is. If it's one girl, three girls, five girls, and now I don't want to share though because my messy tail auntie picking up the phone, calling, talking about, you get what I'm saying? Like, but I'm sharing because I'm supposed to be helping people that's going through the same thing. I'm supposed to be sharing with them what God has given me. And I lose sight of that sometimes. And so the prayer was that I got over my family and friends, and I did not see how God was going to actually do that. That could be your church family. Like, it don't matter. And I had already made the video about strategy to separate. I started praying that after that video. But I knew I needed to, you know, like you will never do what you're supposed to do if you don't separate from them. If you don't understand that what God has called you to do is beyond them and the people and the voices he's assigned to you and attached you to for your walk, for your journey, like it ain't got nothing to do with them, not for real. I was really thinking about this earlier. Like, Kiki, I don't know you. How else would I have known you? How else would I have known you had I not been obedient on YouTube? I don't live where you live. Even some of my girls in California and stuff, how would I have known them? How would we have ever crossed paths if I was not obedient to God and didn't show up on the internet? And then I think about all the people who I watch and follow and stuff on the internet. How would I have known them? Like, so I'm recognizing the importance of my obedience once again. And I think because of all the stuff that I was dealing with, it was just real easy to like put that on the back burner. Like, now again, I give myself too hard of a time because I was, doing what I was supposed to be doing. I feel like at least on TikTok, not consistently, but I was sharing different things over there for the last year, but I just haven't been doing probably my due diligence. But again, I was just trying to survive. So all the extra stuff, which I hate saying being obedient to God feels extra to me, but in those moments and those seasons where I'm trying to survive, no, I don't really care to get on here and talk about my bad experiences with men. Not really. You know what I'm saying? But the whole point is so that I can help other people avoid it. No, I don't want to get on here and keep sounding like the brokenhearted girl. I don't want to get on here and keep sounding like the girl that's don't know her value, don't know her worth, and she just let her family treat her any kind of way. I was tired of that. And I put that on Facebook. That's why I didn't understand why that was being so messy. Because it was like, you don't even know me. I said, the post said, I don't want to be like this anymore. What I meant was like the curse carriers and in survival mode, and the girl that everybody sees and it's just so like, oh, she's so pretty, she's so nice, and she don't know her worth because she has such a hard time in her life. Like, I'm tired of that narrative. Like, that's what I don't want to be like anymore, because I noticed once I started coming out of that myself, I was like, God, I can tell now when I look at a woman and she's so pretty, but life has like beat her up. Her family has beat her up. They don't want her to know that she is pretty inside and out. Like, I had a meeting with somebody earlier in the year and I left and I was so weighed down because I was just like, why do you feel like that about yourself? And when I was like, oh my God, this is how people feel when they talk to me. This is how men feel when they talk to me. This is how other people feel when they talk to me. Is this how frustrated my mama be when she talking to me? Like, how do you not know that you are Megan? And I'm like, because, which is why we're making this live. But all the stuff that I've been through, and then you'll deal with men and they see that you don't know who you are. This girl don't even know, or she don't, or they'll, some of it is humbleness, but some of it is a lack of confidence. So they'll prey on that, Prey. Other people will prey on that. Like, she really the littest person in the room. She's shining brighter than everybody in here without even trying. So what am I going to do? I'm going to try to put this narrative on her to where she doesn't walk in that, to where she doesn't believe that, oh, she really got motion, she really doing stuff. I'm gonna try to come over here and do this. And I'm just tired. Like, I was tired like of that. And so that's what I was saying. And I meant that. And I still feel like that right now. And I really feel like, forget y'all, for real. Not on the like, forget you and I hope bad stuff happened to you, but like, forget you in the sense of like what you think, what you feel, what you want, all that, your lack of support, all of that. Like, for real, this time, I don't care. I need to do what God is calling me to do. I've always been the person in the family that dreamed big, wanted this, and this. That's always been me. That's never going to change. But I was also the one that was actually making active strides towards that. Like, they try to stop you because they haven't even got going. They don't even know how to get going. And that's why they also try to copy you, because they see that you've done that. But it's like, you're never going to get where I'm at, because you're only going to get to where you're supposed to be in your life if you go through God. You can't copy me and think that's not going to work. That's not how life works, right? So I don't know. I prayed that prayer and I really feel like God answered it. Like, help me get over it. Help me get over them. And here we are. But when I think about all this stuff over the years and how the devil has been able to move in certain people, because that's what me and the kids talked about today. Like, anything going on is because you allowed it. You allowed him to treat you like that. You sat up there and you did that. Like, there's personal accountability in all this. Like, you sat up there and you believe that about yourself. Now, I will say this. One thing I've learned this year in my healing and YouTube therapy and all of that is like, being that I am extremely empathetic. Like, at first I thought like maybe this is a thought I'm having, but then I watched the video and somebody else was saying that, and then I was reading comments and somebody else had said it. But being empathetic, I'm it is so easy for me my whole life to actually, like, in the last live I was talking about some put yourself in somebody's shoes. Like, baby tried to do that, but he couldn't do it right. That's what I'm talking about, like a evil, wicked person, right? Like, I don't even know how you live like that. But in the sense of like, I can see why you would do that. I've always been able to put myself in somebody's shoes in that regard, be able to think about others. I truly have empathy. I truly have compassion. And that's been, like I said in the previous live, an issue, because I always get over things. And then it's because, okay, well, I can understand. My sister told me Auburn just fired their coach. Let me put this on Do Not Disturb so I'm going to distract it. I can understand why people do what they did. But because I was so understanding, that's why people was so comfortable disrespecting me and treating me like I was nobody, because I was so understanding. When in actuality, people should view that as, a lot of love and all that, but people don't. They should appreciate it, but they don't. They prey on it. Prey, right? So that's something I've had to work on, but I can't easily put myself in people's shoes, and I just let so much stuff slide. I don't know. And then you look up and you this old, and it's like, why did I do that? So I have a lot of empathy for other people, but because I can do that, and because I'm so sensitive and I feel everything so deeply, like, I remember when I graduated college, I emailed my dad and I was like, hey, I'm a highly sensitive person, because to me, that was breaking news. And so I was reading these articles and I was like, and this is like prior to like really, really like walking things out with God, I was just trying to understand who am I? What am I? Like, how I told y'all, like, it was so easy to think like, oh, I must got to be a witch because I got all these special gifts, because nobody explained prophecy to me. I was just telling my mom that we were watching Twitches. She was like, I cannot believe you. I was like, I mean, it makes sense. Like, but this is during that era. So it was, like, okay, I'm clairvoyant. Maybe I'm an indigo child because I do travel in my sleep at night, like, and I can see stuff, and I can do this. And then I had discovered what it meant to be a highly sensitive person. And so I was reading all these articles and stuff about it. I emailed my dad. I was like, I am highly sensitive. Oh my gosh, wow. And he kind of brushed it off because to some people, sensitivity is, like a bad thing, but it's really not. It's actually I think it's rare that somebody can feel so deeply, feel so strongly, be so passionate, all this stuff, but they're still actually like a strong individual. As much as I've been using the word weak and stuff lately, but it was like I was still resilient, even though I carried around that great deal of empathy. Now, I always say Jesus is the ultimate empath. Like when you try to use that terminology from over there, and then the devil is the ultimate narcissist. Like Jesus is love. Jesus really does understand. Jesus did walk in everybody's shoes. Like he knows what all of it feels like. You know what I'm saying? But I remember learning that, like, okay, I'm highly sensitive. What I didn't realize is because I was so sensitive, and I remember one time when it's two particular family members, and when they would act loud and ignorant and intimidated, and I told y'all like those fits of rage, and that's demonic. And they pride themselves in like being able to make me cry and upset me, like, look at her, like that's how they are, but that's the devil in them. I realized probably in my early 20s because I would argue my nephew is the same way. Because I used to wonder, like, why am I crying? Because I wouldn't cry because I was scared they were going to do something, but I'm so sensitive. And so I would literally start crying. And it's just this one part. I just always hear her saying it, like, I'll make you cry. Like, you go cry. Like, I was never crying because I was scared of her. And I realized I was crying because I felt the demonic presence on her. And I'm very, very sensitive in spirit, very sensitive in nature. And crying is usually my response to everything. So just like when I was watching Twitches the other day and I was crying, I wasn't scared. That's not why I was crying, because I cry when I'm angry too, because there's so many feelings, and I know I can't hit you. I know I can't act out of character. Sometimes I cry because I'm so frustrated. I just cry. It don't mean I'm weak. It don't mean I'm scary. I cry. I cry when I feel God's presence. I cry when I feel love. And that's what happened when I was watching Twitches and my daddy was laughing at me. And I'd be thinking all the time, like, I hope my husband can handle this, because I really am a crybaby. Like, I cry, but I would cry in those moments because I would just feel the darkness and the demonic presence on them. And I don't move like that. I don't rock like that. That ain't abiding around me or within me day in and day out. So to experience such darkness, such hatred, yes, or to feel its presence, it would make me tear up, because I'm like, I'm experiencing something, not because I'm scared, but it was, a reaction to whatever it was I was feeling so intensely. And that was in that moment when you're dealing with people like that, the devil, Satan, all those things. I'm not crying because I'm scared of you. I cry. The only person I cry when I disappoint my daddy. Do you get what I'm saying? Because I feel everything so intensely. That is a gift. I always compare it to but it's a gift you have to learn how to control, because in The Secret Life of Bees, that's why when stuff is going on in the world and I get overwhelmed and I get sad, and I'm like, am I sad, or am I like feeling like, is it God sad? Is it the world is in shambles sad and I feel how in shambles it is sad? Like, God, what's going on? And I've had to learn that over the years. But in The Secret Life of Bees, and anytime somebody would tell the one sister that ends up killing herself their problems, and she would write it down and she would go pray for them and she would put it in the rocks. And then when the little boy went missing, she couldn't handle it. She was overwhelmed by all that, the feelings of everybody, and she literally killed herself. I feel things that intensely. And I knew that when I watched that movie, because I was crying like a baby in a theater. And I was like, this is how I feel. When people tell me what they're going through, it's like I might as well have a bit going through it, because I can feel it. I can easily put myself in their shoes in that regard. Like, why is this so real for me? Like, I experienced it. I've been like that my whole life. My mom, them, when they are a little moody or something shifts, I'm very sensitive to shifts like that. And I'm like, are you okay? And it's like, I'm fine. And people try to act like they're fine. I'm like, no, you're not. Why did you just look at me like that? Why your tone like that? Like, I pick up on all of that. And so some people will tell you, like, you are just sensitive, but in actuality, I am sensitive, and you might not even realize what just happened, but I do. Like, I remember even with my ex and his mood swings he used to have, and this ain't gonna work for me because it would affect me so much. You got to learn how to master that within you. But it would affect me so much because he would be so moody, and I'm like, I can't do this. Like, why did you just shift like that? Something is wrong with you. Ain't nothing wrong. And then people be mad because no, something is wrong with you. Something is going on with you. Even if they don't know something's going on with that, I know something's going on with you. Something in here just shifted. I felt it. And I will say one thing that me and my nephew have in common. I think that's what it is. I think it's stuff that we experienced when we were younger. Life made me sensitive. My trauma made me sensitive. I had to learn, like, this feels off. This is usually a sign, and not to where I'm overly hyper aware and vigilant. I'm truly sensitive because of what I went through. Like, I've been like that my whole life. I don't think that is going to change. That sensitivity is the same sensitivity that lets me know something is wrong, and I know how to go comfort somebody. So that's why I never understood, like, those same people, like, you appreciate that sensitivity when I really know something is wrong, and I know to go say this to you, or I know to go check on you, or I know y'all appreciate that sensitivity then, but then when it's something, it's like, why did you say that like that? What is that coming? I'm picking up on your heart, and you might not even realize that. And I something's up. Like, so understanding that. I've had to understand that over my life. Now, I will say, everybody that goes through what we're going to talk about on the live, they may not necessarily be that sensitive. Megan is that sensitive, and I don't think that's going to change. It hasn't, like, healed and you won't be like that no more. No, because I have been healing, and I'm still just as sensitive. Just as sensitive. Like, I've gone to other that's a gift. That's why I'm sensitive to God's Holy Spirit. I'm sensitive in the spiritual realm, because even when it's not the Holy Spirit, I'm like, what is this? I've gone to other cities and have gotten sick because of whatever it is they got going on in them cities. I feel that, and my body is not acclimated to that. What is this? Now, I will say, when I went to go get my allergy testing, the doctor was laughing at me, and she was like, oh my gosh, like, your body is like over dramatic. And I was like, no, it's sensitive. I've literally been like this my whole life. She was making it seem like my allergies are me overreacting and freaking out. And I don't know, it could be some truth to that, but I don't know. I'm just sensitive. Other people can do stuff, have stuff, experience stuff, and it don't phase them. Me, no, absolutely not. Just not how I am. Okay. So, oh, thanks, Kiki. Love you, girl. I'm sorry, y'all. I'll be eating on here, looking crazy. That apple was so loud yesterday. It's it's because we're right here. Like, you could literally hear me, like, just munching on it. But I say all that to say, when you're empathetic and you're sensitive like that, and you deal with the people who try to spew so much hatred and stuff your way, and they have over the years, you don't realize how you're taking that on. And I think I've tried to explain that multiple times this year. Like, it wasn't that I don't just hate myself. I don't wake up and I just, I hate myself. I only ever felt like that when people who truly hate themselves are being mean to me. And so my interactions with them is like putting that on me because I'm so empathetic. Like, interacting with you, I feel how you feel. Like, how certain relationships, like, I'm only depressed when I talk to these people. They're depressed. And because I'm so sensitive, now it's rubbing off on me. I'm that sensitive. And so I don't just wake up just sad, downtrodden, heartbroken. Even if I am going through certain things, it's like I'm not miserable. I'm not like that. Not naturally. It's who I'm around. And I said that on the first live since I've been back. Like, it's your alignment with these people. It's your agreement with these people. I know that about myself. And so it's been interesting cutting off certain people, because I'm like, a whole lot of feelings left when I cut them off. Even if it was I blocked their access to be able to watch me, right? And then I learned about destiny swapping and all that this year, and then just different exchange and stuff. Like, when I cut that off, it was certain thoughts and feelings and stuff I just wasn't having anymore. I learned in reading one of those books. Oh, it's right there, Seeing the Supernatural. Because this used to freak me out. Like, this is a prime example. If I go to a new city or something, and now I'm having these thoughts, and like, what is this? I don't even, and you'll, if you're not growing in your gift and really learning in your gift, you will think that's you thinking that thought, because it's in your head. You're hearing it in your head, but it's not you thinking that thought. That's your indication that you are around something that is thinking that. That's your indication that that principality, that whatever is in that territory, in that area, or even down to that thing is attacking you. That thing is trying to get near you, because why am I picking up on it if it's not near me? You get what I'm saying? Or near somebody that I'm connected to. That's a whole nother level of being sensitive and having these gifts. Because, like I said, when the world is in shambles, I feel like I know before everybody else. I always have a couple of days and I'm just sad and down, and I'm praying, and I'm, God, show me. Sometimes I don't even ask him to show me. And then something will happen in the world. So I'm like, oh, this is why. Because I feel Everybody, even when I tell y'all, sometimes with the videos, I don't be want to get on here, but then I feel y'all, I feel different stuff going on. I'll have this random encouragement that I'm like, where is that even coming from? But it's for people I'm connected to. Sensitivity. So you have to learn your gifts and you have to grow in your gifts. And it's not, I learned that part about the book, or in that book, Seen in the Supernatural, about how you could be picking up on the entities and stuff around you. I was like, okay, well, now I definitely feel less crazy, because that used to freak me out. But other things have just been the Holy Spirit, because he's a teacher of all things, and just operating in my gifts. Because if you don't operate in them, you're not going to learn them. Okay. But the point of that being, when you're empathetic and it's like, I feel everything that person really feels. And so I got to a point I was even like, so the people who I interacted with, and they made me feel, I don't think I'm supposed to say certain words on here. I'm not sure, but they made me feel like I didn't want to be here anymore, if you catch my drift. I started to wonder, were they struggling with feeling like that? Did they not want to be here anymore? Is the them, like, because when you really talk about possession and stuff, that's a whole nother ball game. But is it them, they're tired, and like their spirit that actually is not bad, and I don't know, do they not want to be here anymore because the demons have overtook their body? I have thoughts like that. Or is it the demons that have overtook their bodies are really trying to kill me, and I feel that, and that's why all of a sudden I'm like, I don't want to be here no more, because I feel like that, kind of like the Jezebel and Elijah situation, like the warfare you're bringing, the fact that you're actively trying to actually take me out is making me feel like I shouldn't even be here anymore. I never know which one it is, but either way, I can only pray for somebody and they feel like that. And now when I'm interacting with them, I'm starting to pick up on these feelings. I don't like, not, you don't give up on people. You gotta understand what I'm saying. Because if your family member or your spouse or somebody really has mental health issues, you really do pray, and you pray differently. But I'm talking about people, and it's like, this is an assignment. The devil sent you over here to pull me down with you, and that's not happening. Because the only example I really think about that with is my one narcissistic ex, but he never really gave take myself out of here. He always just gave evil to me, and because he was so evil, he made me want to not be here. Does that make sense? But you'll take that on. So it's a different form of projection that you can't even see. Like, and if you're not, like, how I be telling you, there's certain stuff people can say to me, I just never believe that. But some stuff, if they projected it over here, it would throw me off, because I never even probably sat down and even think about that, or I wasn't really rooted and secure in that area. So some projection is somebody calling you, stupid, or ugly, or the instances with this ex, he calling me evil. I was like, ain't nobody ever in the history of life called me evil. I should have known then he was evil. Like, that's straight up projection. In the instance with the family member, I told y'all when they was like, they told my daddy, Megan hates me. And at that point in my life, I had already understood how narcissists tell on themselves and how they project. And so as soon as that family member said that, I was like, they hate me, because I knew how that worked at that point. So it was never I feel like I need to tell people I don't hate them, or, oh my gosh, do I hate them? That's not how that went that day. That day I was like, they hate me. Even with another ex, and it being like the accusations, like with you got to watch people, like, why are you accusing me of that? Why are you like, you're doing that? But I knew when he walked up in here talking about some, you've been cheating, I was like, this man been cheating on me. Oh my gosh, because why would he say that? And so just understanding that, not letting projection, like, oh, you think you all that. No, actually, that's your thought. You think I am all that. Like, it's levels to that. But when you're empathetic, you may not realize what's happening on the spiritual realm of people doing all that projection. They want you to hate yourself because they hate yourself. They don't want you to go and keep going because they haven't even started. You don't understand how that is delaying you and messing up your mind and stuff. So that's the preface of the video. Yeah, it's crazy. And some of it is, like, heaven is my home. I do think that's like a prophetic thing. Like, oh, I'm ready to go to heaven. Like, I just don't even want to be on earth, because you can deeply feel how wicked it is. Like, God is going to destroy this earth. Period. He gonna destroy it again. with fire. And I feel like because I'm so sensitive, like I will pick up on just like, oh, it's so nasty here, right? Like I'm ready to go. And it's not a, excuse me, I would do anything to myself or anything, but it's just, I could stand to be somewhere else. And that's when you really got to work on your relationship with him, because heaven comes down. Like you make it feel like paradise in your heart, heaven in your hearts, because heaven is just his presence. You bring that down. I've even told people that about grief and losing loved ones. Like if you miss them, you need to be spending time in God's presence, because to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. So if you miss them, you need to be in his presence. I remember when he explained that to me, I was like, oh, that's good. That's good, guy. So it's like a prophetic burden in there. There's also a you got to get over Jezebel thing, because Jezebel literally made Elijah like, I'm better off dead. That's what he says in the scripture. You got to learn how to have authority over Jezebel. And I feel like that's what this is. Like the people, if you can sit down, it's I sent this TikTok to Morgan the other day. And it was so funny. And it was like me journaling, and it's real intense. And I was like, this is how I feel when I journal about my cousins and certain family members. And it should never feel like that. But this is how I feel. And this is the type of get back I want God to give them. But if you sit down and you really like account for, I told y'all when I fasted in January, like every little thing that was said, every little thing that was kind of like a chip or knock to your confidence, and every way the enemy tried to like just break you down. If you take account for that and you make a list of those people, everybody who like the people who treated you the worst, they hate themselves the most. So whoever's at the top of your list, they do not love themselves. They do not know the Lord. All right. And that's just what the truth of the fact of the matter is with the list. And so that's when you learn how to not take things personal, even though, like I said yesterday, it was very personal that Joseph's brothers threw him in that pit. That's very personal. Like you threw me in the pit. That is very personal. But you have to realize we really don't wrestle against flesh and blood. Even though, again, in Joseph's instance, what you mean I don't wrestle against flesh and blood, because this is my own brothers throwing me in this pit. I clearly do wrestle flesh and blood. But that's when that sensitivity really matters, because the physical realm don't matter as much as the spiritual realm. I'm trying to preach to my mama while we watching Twitches, because they got special little glasses to where they can see how the darkness is moving, but only through the glasses. With your normal eyes, you cannot see that. But when you start looking at things with your spiritual eyes, so yeah, it may be my brothers that threw me in the pit, but what demonic entities, principalities, spirits was moving in them that made them do that? What made Cain kill Abel? The spirit of what? Like we don't fight flesh and blood, but instead it is the rulers, the principalities, the wickedness in high dark places. Like that's for real. And so God wants us to be able to understand that and move accordingly in life. But depending on what you've been through, like I said, I had that meeting with that girl. She older than me, and there's been a lot of that this year. I had that meeting with her, and I was listening to her, and I was like, she don't even have, like, you could tell she still felt like she had to have their permission to shine. And I'm like, but you already shine. And if this is you shining and I can tell you still don't feel like you have permission to, I can't imagine what you like when you feel like you have permission to. And now I understand why my mentor told me that. Like, if this is you depressed, imagine you healed and not depressed, Megan. And I was like, so that when I get turned up on the live and I say stuff like that, like on my worst day, I still have more influence than you. Like, I mean that. And I had to understand that humbly. Like on my worst day, I'm still a better person than you. Going through the worst stuff I've ever been, I'm still a better person than you. And they say that in the Cinderella movie. Like her mom promises her to always be kind. And she's like, you got more kindness in your little pinky or one of her fingers than most people have in their whole bodies, period. And they know that and they hate that, because you literally are everything they are not. You are everything they will never be. Just like that instance about that girl doing all that because she didn't feel chosen. Baby, I wouldn't move like that. Now you have to be careful saying never. But I've been seeing this post and it was like, no, because when I said never, I meant never. Now I know God will humble you. I feel like that's in instances where you're mocking people and you couldn't be me. And that when you approach things like that and then God humble you, like actually no, that could be you. But I have the type of deep resolve to where it's like, no, I would never do that. Like literally never do that. So I do feel like that's a difference. Um or really like matter of fact, like you will never be me. That's a matter of fact. I don't care who I'm talking about. You will never be me. You'll never have my assignments. You'll never sit in my spot. Try as much as you want, but you'll never be able to do it. So that those list of people, they hate themselves the most. Like the people who have treated you the worst, they do not love themselves. You can argue with your mama. Nobody who loves themselves treats people like that. Me and the kids today in class was talking about miserable people and messy people. People who are not miserable, people who like enjoy their life in peace and stuff, they don't do what these other people do. They don't create drama and chaos and try to bring you into it. They don't throw rocks and hide. I ain't never threw no rock and tried to hide my hand ever. I don't have the time or the energy to do that. They don't sit up and come up with devious plots and schemes, just like the realization yesterday. Like they planned that. They planned that. People who love themselves, people who love God, people who love other people, they don't move like that. That's a fact of the matter. People who want joy, experience joy, they don't get mad when somebody else has it. People who truly want to experience a blessing don't get mad when somebody else has it. Like, that's just a fact. I don't care what nobody says. I don't do those things because I'm not that type of person. And I pray that I remain this Megan, this heart posture to where I'm like, one thing I've been praying about specifically is ladies that got 30 plus years on me and they act like it's a problem. God, please don't let me be no weird old lady. Please. Because I know a lot of weird old ladies that's living in regret, that's living in shame. And every time they look at you, they feel away. You are 60 plus years old. What's the problem, Stevie? God, I don't never want to be like that. Ever. I never wanted to be a mean, ugly, nasty girl. Now, granted, that was a personal thing, but also my parents would have whooped me if I was. So there was levels to that. But I never wanted that. So when you really like, one of the therapists was like, you're not gonna get better trying to understand why they act like how they are because you're never gonna understand it. You're not like them. And one post that I see repeatedly too is when people grow up in narcissistic households, they turn out one or two ways. And so it's not even about your household. It's gonna be bigger than that. But the post is about if you grow up in a narcissistic household, the kid's gonna turn out one of two ways. Either your kid gonna be a narcissist, you're gonna have a narcissistic sibling that acts just like who raised y'all, or you're gonna have an extremely empathetic sibling or child, whatever, and they're gonna act nothing like that because the narcissistic parent treated all the kids like that. And I don't want to say the weaker child. It could be the child that maybe got it worse. Okay. That's probably the Lord making me say that. But one of them children is going to turn into the very thing that infected them. The infection going to take over them. Them other kids, they going to fight that. Like, I recognize, I hate how this makes me feel. When you, like, that's a God thing. The golden rule that I teach the kids, you treat other people how you want to be treated. So at some, like, it has to be in the core of you to, okay, when they yelled and screamed at me, I didn't like how that made me feel. A baby, not a baby, but a toddler at least can be like, I don't like how that makes me feel. So moving forward, I'm not gonna make nobody feel like that. Just like if say you get cheated on, I'm never gonna cheat on anybody. That's a horrible feeling. That made me feel horrible. I was heartbroken. Some people get cheated on, and it's I'm cheating on everybody I get in a relationship with next. Like people are different, and I thank God I'm this type of different. We all experienced a lot of the same stuff, and I tell my brother all the time, I feel like you got the absolute worst because you was the first. You got the worst. My brother is still sweet. I would never say my brother is not sweet. My brother, I think all my dad's kids have good hearts. If I'm being honest, Morgan is the meanest, but even though she's the meanest, it's just because she's not friendly. Like I'm overly friendly, so it makes it seem like you get what I'm saying. But all of us have good hearts. We could all be different. We all had to go around the same people, and you get what I'm saying. And none of us really just turned out nasty. But I know people where it's like, okay, your mom was super sweet, your dad was a little bit of a bully. Two of y'all kids turned out as straight bullies. And you have one that's the total opposite. She's a sweetheart. You get what I'm saying? So it's who you are. It's your heart. And I thank God I have a good heart. That's the best gift he could have gave me, my heart. And so the people that choose to turn into that, because I do believe it's some people and it's like they didn't experience that. They just chose that. They chose the devil. They let the devil in them, move in them, operate in them. Because we got one, and I'm like, I cannot figure out who mistreated her to make her act like this. I cannot figure it out. I cannot figure it out. I can't. And that's why I got to stop trying to figure it out because that empathy in me that I just want to understand why you feel like you got to act like this with me. I ain't got to understand nothing. I don't even want to understand. I had that moment this year. I don't care about what nobody been through. It's not because I don't care, because I actually genuinely care. but I can't care about what you've been through because I'm gonna keep making excuses for you and I'm gonna keep being a little too understanding. And in the meantime, what you're doing is putting me in a position and making me take on a job that was never mine, which again is what the live is about. God made that very, very clear to me. I don't know if it's because I was low key kind of bringing it up, but the way he illustrated in the dream, I was like, oh, I could never go back to that spot, God, and I won't go back to that spot. He didn't put me on this earth to be anybody's punching bag. Just like I had a dream and I told y'all my ex was beating me up. Here's the thing. I made a video about us having an unlimited supply. You really are different. They said that in Twitches. I was really crying at the end of Twitches. Love is infinite. You can make however much of it you want. I was like, oh, this is good. And I'm like, I wonder if this influenced me growing up. Had to. Like positively, you know what I'm saying? But I dreamt he was beating me up real bad. But I didn't feel nothing in the dream. But he was going in. He was like wailing. And in that relationship, it felt like that. Like you not finna be taking out your frustrations on me. Any domestic violence type of situation, that's what that man is doing. Like, who are you so angry at that you have to hit me? Who? I need to know. It's probably his mama. It could be other things, but who are you so angry at that you're hitting me, but also that you think you can hit me? Like, that's crazy. So in the dream, he was going stupid. And I knew when I woke up, God was telling me I was never his punching bag. But God was also showing me he didn't let that affect me. You know the episode of like I'm not what man am I out here beating up because of the stuff I went through. Even if we go all the way back to 6th grade, and I told y'all that boy was very rough and aggressive with me because he liked me. And then he ended up going to jail when we were like in high school because he beat up one of our classmates. Okay, but I remember him in 6th grade. He was already on that type of time. He probably grew up in a house seeing his mama get beat on. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know though. But you know the episode of SpongeBob where Flex or whatever his name is like, I'm gonna beat you up. Like, and he's a bully. And then SpongeBob is like, okay, I'm ready. After running from him, this is a word. After running from him the whole episode, he's terrified, he intimidated. He said he's gonna beat me up, right? And then he's like, okay, I'm ready. And he hit him and he don't feel nothing. It's just a squeak. That's what my dream was like. So even though this person is trying to take out all this anger and aggression, because if I'm not mistaken, Flex, whatever his name is, his daddy was also a bully. Okay. But that's that narcissism running in the bloodline. That's that you learned that from them. That's that generational curse on their bloodline. Like my mom and daddy ain't no bully. They didn't raise no bullies. Period. So which somebody was raised by a bully, but he ain't one. So that's a choice. So it felt like that in a dream. And even though I was overwhelmed and kind of sad, I had told God, thank him. I thanked him for not letting that get to me. Even though that person was trying to make me their punching bag, everything they were frustrated about, they take it out on me. God didn't let that phase me like how it could have phased me. And now when you are, in relationship with people and all that, now the people closest to you, they are generally going to feel any of that frustration if you don't know how to if you don't know how to manage that and keep that from coming out. You going to do that. People going to do that to you in close proximity, but you're going to know their heart. I always say that whether you're talking about your spouse, your parents, your siblings, you're going to know their heart. They didn't mean to do that. This instances where I'm like, no, you really meant that. Like nothing in you was actually trying not to do that. You don't feel an ounce of remorse for how you treated me, how you did me. Like that is you. That's different. When it's, even if it really hurt your feelings, but they didn't mean that. And it's two people in my life. And God tell me, like, even though I can tell y'all, like, nah, you hurt me. That hurt my feelings. And God is like, they didn't mean that. And I believe God. Other instances, God is like, nah, they really thought they was going to take all their life frustrations out on you. The fact that he was broke, the fact that his mama was a joke, whatever it is, they thought they was going to take that out on you. And that post keep being on Facebook. Don't ever in your life, let a man take out his problems with his mom on you. And I've experienced that because I've been talking about that a lot. To the extent that I've experienced in other relationships, I haven't experienced that with one person, even though I know stuff has transpired. He don't try to take that out on me. But the other ones, absolutely. That's not what this is about. So he was punching me, beating me up, and I knew God was showing me that he thought I was his punching bag. But you don't know if somebody's doing that to you spiritually. But then also with my family, I was like, nah, y'all be treating me like an emotional doormat, and I'm not for it. I can't do it. Like once I really realized, like, oh, y'all really think this is why I was put on earth. That's why this year's been so funny to me, because it's like, this is the year the doormat found her legs. I stood up, get up, Get up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I really got up. You're not gonna treat me like that. Get up. And it's also the year that I developed a spine, a backbone. Stand up straight, actually, Megan. Get up off the floor and stand up straight. All this has been transpiring this year, but I didn't really have like a full picture until I had a dream the other day. So I'm trying to make sure I preface everything before we get into the dream. You're nobody's emotional doormat. That's not your job. We're gonna talk about that. And you're not anybody's punching bag to take out their frustrations. You ain't never gonna understand because you're not the type of person. I stopped listening to Jerry Wise too. I love people like that. And it's crazy because I don't want to share my story, but when I look at Jerry Wise, I don't see a narcissistic victim. I see somebody, helping other people heal from that. But for some reason, for me, I feel like if I talk about stuff, if I share stuff, then I'm still a victim. And God is like, no. But Jerry Wise even said that. He was like, I stopped watching his videos that week. He was like, you're never gonna heal if you keep absorbing this content though. And I was like, baby, you making the content. He was like, you're never gonna heal if you keep trying to understand why they're like this. You need to understand why you let how they are affect you the way that it does. And I was like, Jerry. And so I started locking in with God on that and trying to figure that out a couple months ago. But it's good to understand, and that's what Jerry said. You need to have an awareness, but you got to work on your reaction and your response to how these people behave. Which goes back to the word I shared yesterday. Don't let the ungodly behavior of other people keep you from living. Like, because you don't need to understand why they're evil. You're never going to truly understand why they're like that because you're not evil. You need to understand why you're letting that affect you the way that it does. That's what you need to understand. I was like, oh my gosh, thank you, Jerry. So I think that's it. Happy Sunday for the people I got in, and that's not talking. So thank you, Kiki. I appreciate it, my girl. So the dream I had, I didn't rebuke it when I woke up, and I just kind of laid there, and I was like, okay. I thought about it a little bit, but it wasn't until I called my mom later in the morning, and I was like, can I tell you about my dream? And she was like, yeah. But when I started telling her about my dream, I broke down crying. I was like, I didn't even know that's what God was trying to tell me until I was trying to articulate what was happening in the dream. I mean, there's some water. I've not had that much water today. I'll be struggling on Sunday mornings. Okay. Those people on that list, if you're going to sit there and write the list out, the people who treated you the worst are also the people who are most intimidated by you and threatened by you. The people who have treated you the worst are the ones who are the most intimidated and threatened by you. Okay. So the dream starts off. Oh, and I also want to say this. For years, I thought that if I had a dream that I was back in primary school, because y'all know for me, like I went somewhere in kindergarten, I went somewhere in first grade, and then I went to the same school for second through eighth. So it was like a primary school because it wasn't just elementary, it had middle school too. So I went to the same school for that. Then I went to high school, then I went to college. And so for these years, I was thinking if I went back to one of those schools, it was warfare and it was something trying to pull me back. I will say I have had dreams and that's how it feels. But then I've had other dreams and I may be like, why am I retaking this math class? I've had a dream like that regarding kingdom spouses and marriage. And I woke up from the dream mad. I think I told y'all about that. And I was like, why would I be taking this class again? I already took this class in college. Why am I taking this again? That's not what that meant. It meant I missed an important lesson during that stage of my life. I was like, oh, see, I thought all of them just meant like something trying to drag you backwards. No, that's not what they all mean. I have some dreams when I go back to high school. Those are usually like, nah, like, you know what? I had this one dream and it was high school faces around, and I kept going through the haunted house and it was repeated cycles. And I didn't cut all them people off. And now that I look back, I'm like, okay, that could have been the lesson I need to learn. That's why he was showing me I kept going through the same cycles because I didn't cut them off. Okay, I've had other dreams where I'm in my primary school, and I feel like that's more foundational, especially if you're talking about if like even how that school was. Like I know in a dream if I'm like on the kindergarten hallway versus like the middle school side, I know that. Or if I'm in a gym, I have a lot of dreams where I'm in a gym at the primary school. This dream started off in the gym. And so God was showing me that it was things that I should have learned at that time and been moving forward in life with that knowledge, but I didn't. Okay. Oh, that's good, girl. So the dream started in the primary school. I was not like a little kid. I was sitting in the bleachers and my dad was there. He was in charge of everybody. So even in a dream, I was like, why is dad at the school? But this is what I'm saying. I was supposed to be learning something I should have learned a long time ago. I will also say I got baptized when I was 11 in sixth grade at that school. So these are things that I really should like. I'm very intentional about what I teach my little girls in children's church because I don't want them to struggle with these things. I'm very intentional about what I teach them. But these are things I should have known as a younger child, but because of my abuse, because of incessant bullying and harassment, I was like, I never had a chance to like breathe and like take in certain things, which this month has been for me. I think that's why it's been so intense. But my dad was in charge of everybody and he had a higher rank than he actually had when he was in the army. So even in a dream, like it was like I was very aware in the dream, very aware. So it was like when I woke up, I was able to tell my mom all these things. And I was like, every time I would tell her something, I could hear the message behind it. So he had a rank he didn't actually have when he was in the army. It was higher than what he had when he retired. He was in charge of everybody. And that's really all that scene was. I was sitting there, he was in charge, he was telling everybody what to do. And I was just like, that's my daddy. Like I was so proud. Like he's the boss, like boss man. And I knew he was in charge of everybody. Everybody respected him, like he was just the man. Okay, cool. It jumps from primary school to college. And this is when I started crying. So the part that I was supposed to get from the primary school was my daddy is in charge. And it's not Greg, even though he's definitely in charge. But it's God. My daddy is in charge. The same way I was sitting there like, my daddy's the boss and he tells everybody what to do. Like sixth grade, baptism, God is in charge. He's everybody's boss in every situation, in every scenario. Even when it comes to how bad these folks is treating you, he is still in charge. Okay. You are God's daughter. You are a princess. Remember the video where I was like, you always been the princess of this territory. You need to wake up because I had on pajamas, but really, really, really nice shoes. That dream, I was in my childhood bedroom, the one I share with my sister. I was a grown woman in like nice-ish kind of pajamas and really fancy shoes. And I was like, I am not dressed correctly. Like in the dream, you have to pay attention to what's off. And I was like, why do I have on pajamas and these really fancy shoes? Like, what is going on? And that dream, I broke free. Like somebody switched up and gave me like the enemy's car to leave. And I was like, thank you very much. That dream I had probably like 2 or 3 years ago, but it was speaking to that. You are royalty. You are a princess. Me in particular, I reposted something the other day. I'm a suburban princess. So if you think you're gonna come in my life and treat me anything other than that, you can leave, right? Like you have to know who you belong to. This I was in a dream just so like that's my daddy. Like he's in charge. I should have been felt like that the moment I got baptized about God, walking like I'm a princess, knowing I'm the daughter of a king. I learned the term daughter of a king in college. And so even though I was learning that, I was reading those devotionals, I still let people treat me like I was a nobody, like I was nothing, right? I let them treat me like that. So the dream went from something I should have learned at a foundational level early on in life to college. This is when it gets interesting. Mind you, I told you I watched that cyberbully movie and I was crying the whole time. And I was like, what is wrong with me? But I knew God was showing me how he kept me through all that bullying. In the movie, she tries to not be here anymore and she doesn't succeed. And it was because of the constant harassment online. Now, me, by the time I got to being on social media, crazy comments and stuff, and it wasn't like, okay, did y'all watch that movie? We're gonna come back to this slide. Did y'all watch that movie or the documentary where the mom was the bully texting her daughter the whole time, like, go kill yourself. Do it. Like, it was her mama the whole time. And all she said was, I knew she wouldn't really do it. What mom does that? Okay, kind of like that movie that came out this year and everybody was upset. Cannot think of the name of that, but it was on Netflix. Anyways, and that was incessant, always texting, always calling. I know people don't believe me, but literally wake up every day, somebody harassing me. It didn't matter if it was, on social media, because there was a time where people was at my neck because of the words I was releasing about love. And I was like, do I really want to go through this, God? Not really sure if I want to go through this. But in the spirit realm, it always felt that way with family and everything. No matter what side it was, it always felt like that. Like somebody is always bothering me. Wake up every day, somebody harassing me. You might not be getting it from the same thing, same person, same way every single day. But how I was out here moving and how too many people had access to me. Because what I never understood was why they didn't block that number. But then they were saying it would be texting them from other numbers. I would have got a different number. I got a different number because I didn't want people being able to reach me. I didn't understand that because ain't nobody gonna be telling my daughter to kill herself and they gonna still have access to be able to contact her. That is insane. My number would have changed. But see, she was in a very bad predicament because this is another word God been telling me lately. She was in a bad spot because it would have been her mama that went with her to get the new number. And so her mama would have still had the new number. And the whole time it was your mama doing all that to you. In Twitches, the scene where the mama is running to the uncle, distraught. They're alive. Something bad has happened to them. You got to go find them. You're running to him to help you, to save you. And he the one that's been trying to kill them since you and your husband had them. His own brother. He's been trying to kill them since you had them. Like we can be so oblivious to the spiritual warfare the people closest to us is causing us in our life, whether it's somebody you think is your best friend, whether it's a family member you don't know. And I'm very big on witchcraft. It's not just somebody lighting candles and saying all this stuff. If you are sitting up at your house worried about me, I can feel it. I feel when people are pulling on my energy, and so most of the time I'm going to dream it. So I'm sick as a dog last year, and all I'm dreaming about is my crazy tail family. What? And I'm like, and this is y'all, I didn't remember my dreams at all instances in my life. Like I dreamt when I was little, remember dreams, had scary dreams all the time, would tell my parents about it. And then I don't remember my dreams as much in college. I remember I still had like gifts, but it wasn't like how it was when I turned 25. And then in my relationship in my early 20s after college and before I turned 25, I could never remember a dream unless it was something crazy. But it was like, it was very clear to me, like God was always showing me who was bothering me, who was a problem. Why are me and this person tussling in the spirit? I'm going through actual stuff and they trying to fight me. And why is this happening? Because that's what was really going on. So I've dealt with incessant harassment. I'm saying that, and that's why I ended up thanking God the way that I did, because I'm still here and he wanted me to be here. I'm still here. I know I was making the videos last year, like he didn't die for you not to, live and all that. And he didn't save you for you not to live. But I didn't realize like the legitimate ways it's always came through. And I was like, oh, it was always trying to wear me down and take me out. Oh my goodness, right? So yeah, that movie was crazy. Be very careful of the people you have around you. I got a different word about supportive people that you need to cut off, because how is your own mama the person doing that? And even had you did what should have solved it, which is changing your number, she still would have had access to it, because nowhere are you thinking it's my mom. What? Come again? Even on Twitch, it's like you running to him and he just came back from trying to kill your daughter. You telling them all your business, you running them to confide in for help, you telling them everything, and they're the reason things are how they are. So that was a whole side note. Okay, fast forward. I'm on Auburn's campus. Interestingly enough, Morgan just told me they fired their coach. I'm on Auburn's campus in the tallest building on our campus. I remember when we was doing like the tour in the beginning, they were talking about how if people ever killed themselves or wanted to kill themselves, they would go up to the top of the building. I also feel like they told us a little like it had a ghost, because the ghost was somebody who jumped off the top. And I think it was a student. I can't remember. That was actually long enough to where I cannot remember all the details, but I did remember it had something to do with suicide. It was the tallest building on campus. And I was walking around campus. I was doing stuff And I was with my friend Justin from work. And maybe this is crazy. Whenever I start telling people dreams, I'm like, it'd be crazy what God be revealing to me. Justin is very like um chill and mellow and does not let people get to him. And so it was really good having him working with him last year when I was going through all that stuff, because he would be the one like, don't even worry about it. Like maybe they just, just don't take it personal. Like, so what do you want for lunch? Like, but not like in a trying to distract me way, in a way of like genuinely do not care. Like that's how he is. Like somebody could be talking to Justin crazy and he not gonna care. He gonna go home and do what he love to do. Like that. I really think that's why I saw him in a dream. So I was with him and then we separated. That's crazy because I did not realize that until my mom was. I was like, why would he be in a dream? He didn't go to Auburn. That's probably why. He helped me through all that last year. And then all of a sudden, I was responsible for cleaning the stairway in that building. Me and a girl that I told y'all, she's younger than me, and I was listening to their it was a stream they were doing, and somebody was asking, like, have y'all ever been bullied? And they were like, no. Well, I mean, yeah, people have tried, but I didn't let them. Like, that was her answer. And I was probably just still, lingering in my subconscious or something. Because I really have been thinking about that for 2 weeks. So I was somehow tasked to, I don't know how, to be cleaning the stairs in that building. And she was also tasked to clean the stairs in that building. So she was supposed to start on the first floor, and I was supposed to start on the highest floor. And I really do not remember how many floors is in that building. I don't remember. But we were supposed to like work our way down and meet in the middle. I'm cleaning, but I'm like Cinderella cleaning, like hands and knees, scrubbing the stairs. Do you know how much traffic that would be? And also, pause. I was just telling my mom about this yesterday, so maybe this has something to do with it too. I had a friend at work that was doing custodial type of stuff. My dad always raised us, and I will argue God has always put it in our heart to treat everybody the same, right? But do you know, not but it don't matter who you are. You can be the president, you can be the Queen of England, or you could be one of the many custodial workers I've loved over the years at school, my jobs, whatever. And I treat everybody with the same respect. Everybody. I see my mom move like that. I see my dad move like that. They don't treat anybody different. That's how we was raised. There was a situation going on, and I didn't know if it was race involved. I didn't know if it, because she was black. I don't know if it was just people being nasty, but they was leaving SHIT all over the bathroom and stuff for her to clean it up. And it was kind of like clockwork. So she was telling me about it. And I was like, that is so disrespectful. Like, who would do that? Like, really getting riled up. And so, me being me, I wrote that up. And I didn't have to, because it's not, it wasn't happening to me. It wasn't my job. I don't play that. You're not going to do her like that. You're not going to treat her like that. What were the incidents? Tell me the days. Tell me the times. And I wrote it up and I reported it, because I do not play that. It stopped, didn't it? It stopped. And then the bosses were sending out emails and all that. But I remember her telling me that. And I was like, that is so disrespectful, because most normal people, if you see somebody is in that lowly, humble spot, because that it's to have that as a job, that is some serious stuff, and which is gonna bring me to something else that happened this year. But that is some serious. Both of those incidents happened this year. That is some serious stuff to be cleaning up after grown people. And so most normal people, if I know and I'm speaking to, not even if I'm speaking to them, but I just know like somebody is responsible for cleaning this bathroom, even if you go to Chili's, because sometimes I'm like, this is real disrespectful for you to do all this in this bathroom, and somebody got to clean it, and we're at the primary purpose of this store, of this place, is for us to eat, and you gonna come in here like, do you do your own bathroom at the house like this? Like, what's wrong with you? People nasty. Okay, so most normal people, you're gonna keep up in public the same way you do at home. And so that's questionable. Like, do you live like an animal at the house? That's very questionable. But also, you have an awareness in public restrooms, like somebody is cleaning this up. So what does that mean? I'm not going to pee on the floor. I'm not going to leave feces on the floor. I'm going to wipe up the water I even may spill everywhere, even if I'm washing my hands. People with common decency are like that. Even if you're not even thinking like, oh, somebody got to clean this up, but somebody do got to clean this up. Because if it was you that had a job, would you want people coming up in there acting like that, and you're the one responsible for cleaning it up? People don't know how to put themselves in other people's shoes for real. I have that ability. I would, if I had that job, just like if you was a waitress or a waiter, how would you want to be tipped? That's how you're supposed to live your life. The golden rule. If I had this job, if I had this job, if I had this job, that's how you're supposed to live. So I reported that. I wrote all that up. We're not even playing them games. They'll go check the cameras. They'll go do whatever they have to do. But I felt like they were disrespecting her because that was her job, and you don't do people like that. If anything, you make that easier for them. Like, oh, you be wiping off the counter when you leave, don't you? Yeah, because why would I make it to where it's difficult when you got to come in here and you already got to clean up after us? It should already be clean, and you just got to do light work, and it's not disgusting you when you have to do it. And this also speaks to, because this is all gonna come together in a dream, but this also speaks to y'all know how I told y'all I've dreamt. And even this year, God showed me I have an etiquette to where I can release publicly. If I have a dream where I am going to the bathroom in any regard, it's always very like controlled. It's very still cleaned. You get what I'm saying? Like God showed me I had that gift. So I have literal public releases of things coming out of me. Like when you think about deliverance and all that, you may have to go to the bathroom, you may throw up, whatever the case may be, but to be able to have that release publicly, and it's still a level of grace, and that is something that could be considered grotesque, whatever, or maybe you shouldn't be sharing that with the world. God showed me I have an etiquette in doing it, and I thought that was very interesting this year. But now that I've had this dream, I'm like, okay, this makes sense to me. So keep that in mind with the situation she went through at work. So I'm on my hands and knees, which is totally different than what our custodians got to do at work. Ain't who on their hands and knees cleaning up at the office? And why are you on your hands and knees cleaning up anything unless it's your house? Your house. Okay, I might get on my hands and knees and scrub it up. How they had Cinderella on her hands and knees cleaning up after them, and them was the type of people that made it harder. I'm gonna just leave whatever around. So you gotta get it. I'm not even gonna help you, even though I know you put yourself in this position to do that. Who does that? Who does that? So in a dream, I'm on my hands and knees. The first couple floors, it ain't that crazy, but even in a dream, I'm like, do you know how much foot traffic goes through here? And I'm a germaphobe in real life. In real life, I would never be on my hands and knees in the public, and I definitely like what? I don't even play games like that. First couple floors wasn't bad. Okay, I'm working down. I think that building. I think it's the Haley Center. I think it's Haley. I think that's what it is. I don't remember how many floors, but in a dream, I made my way down to the 7th floor. And I was wondering, I wonder what floor she on. Because I was wondering it, because remember, she was supposed to be working up, I was supposed to be working down. And I was like, I wonder if she's got to as many floors as I have. The first floors were not horrible for me, but something about that 7th floor, and I was like, no, 7 is important. I got to the 7th floor. 7 represents completion. And so I felt like God was showing me that I wasn't going to continue that cycle. That's why I stopped on the 7th floor. Because I feel like at this point in my life, had I continued to let people do me like that, I would have continued to for the rest of my life. Like on Snapchat, I had posted, like, it feels very do or die for me right now. Exactly. Because I will no longer be in this position. You will no longer treat me in a way that makes me feel like I have to do this. And so I got to the 7th floor, but the 7th floor was different. The 7th floor wasn't just foot traffic. The 7th floor had caution stuff up. And that's what really got my attention, because I was like, I'm not cleaning this one. Like, it wasn't I didn't ask nobody's permission. I literally got up in a dream. I was like, I ain't doing that. And I left. I got up in a dream and I left. Do you know where I landed? In this office. I was no longer on Auburn's campus. I got up, like I literally in a dream on my hands and knees. And I was like, why is I got up. So get up, get out of that position. I got up and I walked away from that. And I ended up right here. Okay, so let's go back to the 7th floor and the caution taking stuff up. Something else interesting happened this year at work in the new building. So it was an issue with that in the first building. And I wrote it up. They handled it. Then we moved to a new building, and it's so crazy because whenever I need a break, God give me one. I went to work that day. I almost put in leave. And I told my mom, and I was like, I don't even want to come today. It is 10 o'clock. I am trying to eat a snack. I'm very sensitive. All this is coming together. I'm very sensitive. Everybody at my job knows how sensitive I am. When I tell y'all I'm sensitive, it's not even just gifts in the spirit. I smell stuff from far away. I taste stuff just from smelling it. Like, I'm very, very sensitive. So I'm sitting at my desk. I'm trying to eat a snack, and I'm like, something's off. Like, something's off. Like, I will feel it before I even physically understand what's going on. Then I was like, is that a smell? Like, what is that? And I was like, looking around, look at other people in cubicles. Most of my team was in a meeting that I didn't go to. I like dialed in because I had went through a weird couple of months at work. I didn't want to be seen by people. And I'm like, ain't nobody said nothing about this smell. I was like, okay. So I was trying to make popcorn and I had to walk in a certain direction to the break room. And so when I was walking in that direction, I was like, okay, so I did smell something in my desk. It was worse when I was going in that direction. I was like, what the heck? And I'm on the second floor. So I made the popcorn. And while I was making it, I was like, I am not going to eat this in here. I cannot do it. Like, I'm talking to myself. I'm not even going to eat this in here. I made it, went back to my desk. Still, nobody said nothing. The people on the other side, I was like, so nobody smelled it. So I was getting irritated. So I was grabbing my purse and stuff to go to the car. I had text my mom and them. And I was like, why does it smell like somebody? I'm not going to spell that again. I should use a different word earlier. Why does it smell like somebody boo-booed on themselves? That's what I said. That's not what I said. But that's what I said. I said, why does it smell like that? And they thought I was just being dramatic. Like, I'm like, it ain't that long lasting. Even if somebody passed, when, whatever they did, I'm not going to still smell it for this long. Like, it was like, it was in the building. Like, no, that's in your pants. You know what I'm saying? So I grabbed my stuff. I went down to the car. And I'm minding my business, just eating my snack because certain times of the month, it's more like my hormones will make it even more. Like, I can't go in Walmart because I will smell dog food as soon as I walk in and I'm ready to throw up. That's how I don't even want to see me pregnant. I'm like this now. You know what I'm saying? So I was going to the car and they were coming out of the meeting. I was going to the car. I'm looking around, still nobody is saying nothing. And I see one of our bosses, and I was like, you don't smell that? And she was like, it's not me. I was like, I wasn't saying it was you. I'm asking you, like, do you smell it? And she was like, I don't smell nothing. And I'm looking at everybody else, they saying they don't smell nothing. I'm like, are y'all crazy? Like, I'm really at this point, I'm like, maybe it's me. I'm like, did somebody put something underneath my desk? Because they do weird stuff like that out there. I didn't know what was going on. So she was like, I gotta go call back basically her counterpart, but the lady on the first floor that does what she does because it's two separate offices on the floors. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to the car to eat my food because I can't smell the smell. So I'm in the car, I'm eating my food, texting my mom and them. They were like, did you figure out what it was? I was like, I have no idea. They, like, they don't smell it. So I'm like watching YouTube videos, eating popcorn in the car, and I started seeing people. It's not funny. It's really not funny. I prayed after this. I started seeing people come out of the building. But you know, if you're a woman, like if I walk out of the building and I only have my purse, like I'm either going to lunch or something, like I'm not leaving for the day. Because if I'm leaving for the day, I have a tote bag and a backpack and stuff too. But I saw women and stuff walking out with like all their bags. So I'm like looking at different people I work with. I'm like, why she got her purse and her bag? She gone for the day? That was my first thought when I saw the first one. The second one, I was like, she going for the day too? Like, I'm like, they got an offsite meeting or something. Like, that's what I'm thinking. I'm just minding my business or eating popcorn, but I'm observing. Then I see a man come out with his motorcycle helmet and he has his lunchbox. And I was like, I wonder if he's gonna ride over to the park or something. Like, you know, I'm just think I'm observing. Then my homegirl that parked beside me, she has all of her stuff. I let down my window and she was like, girl, they sending everybody home. Something happened inside. And I was like, I knew it. Like, I didn't tell her that, but I was just like, they sent everybody home. She was like, they said go work from the house the rest of the day. I was like, okay, cool. It's not even like 11 o'clock. So by the time I walked back in the building, I can't even, she had tried to tell me, but she's like, I don't know if you can go through that middle door because how I park at work, I can, like, I walk up one staircase and my desk is right there. So I try to park right in front of that staircase. But they had already started closing doors, locking doors. You couldn't go in, nothing. So I had to walk around to the side of the building and I had to come on the first floor and go up the side steps. But when you come on the side of the building, why did they have caution tape everywhere? And that's what the dream reminded me of, because I think that's what got my attention in the dream. Because I was like, caution tape, this can't be good. But when I walked in the building, it was caution tape everywhere on the first floor, like on the other end. And I was like, oh God. And then the smell was so much worse on the first floor. I was like, I thought I was struggling upstairs because what had happened on the opposite floor that I sit in on and on the opposite side of the building. But I was starting to smell it where I sit on the on another floor and on the opposite side of the building. And everybody's acting like that. I was like, nobody smells this. So I go up the stairs. I run into all my bosses, all three of them. And the one that I had already asked if she had smelled it, she was like, Megan knew, y'all. Megan knew. And my one boss was like, I should have known what she was the first person to say something because they know I'm sensitive. And I was just like, something's off. Like, something ain't right. So this whole time, y'all, somebody has literally had they had explosive diarrhea. And oh, let me tell you this too. When I walked in the first floor, I smelled throw up. I didn't smell throw up when I walked out the first time when I had my popcorn. I could only smell like something that's just off. I wasn't sure what it was. It was just horrible smelling. But when I came in, I smelled throw up. I'm that type of person where if I smell throw up, I throw up, but also like a grown person using the bathroom on themselves, that would probably also make me throw up. So at that point, I had assumed some people had got sick from the smell. Like, you're not supposed to just smell the insides of somebody else. I've been like that since I was little. One time in my primary school, one of my friends got sick after lunch and threw up, and like I've always been like that. I cannot smell something that came out of somebody else's body. I've always been like that. So they're laughing. They're like, Megan, go home and all this stuff. I was like, okay, nobody really knew what happened, but come to find out, while they were in that meeting that I didn't go to, the first floor had already evacuated the building. Left, like not allowed to be in the building, because when it's your bodily functions like that, that now becomes a biohazard. You're not supposed to be walking around dealing with other people's bodily functions. It's one thing if you have a baby and you got to change your baby diaper. It's one thing if your kid gets sick, they throw up, they use the bathroom, and they stuff you, that mama. It's one thing if your spouse gets sick, whatever. Or some people have jobs where they really do have to help people with that. You work in a nursing home, you work wherever, and so, but it's still a biohazard. Like, there's certain procedures and stuff that you have to do when it comes to handling it. And so they were like, y'all can't be in the building. It's a biohazard. And everybody's like, oh my God, what happened? What happened? What happened? And all they said was somebody got sick. We didn't really know until the next day, which upset me, because the next day when I had to go to work, I didn't want to go. I did not want to go. And the man I sit beside, he was like, is it just me, or could y'all like still smell it when you went home? I was like, I tried to tell y'all. He was like, I couldn't even eat when I went home because I could still smell it. Exactly. So I'm saying all that because that is a biohazard, and they had to bring in a team to clean that up. Why would I go clean that up? Why would I go clean it up and that's not my job? Do you get what I'm saying? So then at that point, this is getting to the live. At that point, I started thinking about my friend at work. I love the custodian at this job. He's so sweet to me. He's so good to me. So the next day when I saw him and he was kind of like low-key telling everybody what happened, I was like, did you have to clean that up? And he was just, I said, oh, baby, I would have been on for the rest of the week. Ain't no way. And he was like, I couldn't even clean it up. They had to call in a team. He could only do so much. You get what I'm saying? Like, you don't, that's not just any normal person job. Like, that's just not what it is. Like, even our custodian could not clean that up, and that is his job. And they be getting on my nerves sometimes when they do stuff to make his job harder, because don't be doing the most. You know that man, you see what he like. He's so nice and pleasant with everybody. Don't make his job harder. If anything, we're supposed to be making it easier for him. So me and him talked. He said I had to bring in the whole team, but I didn't even want to go back the next day because, like my friend that I sit beside, he was like, I could still smell that when we left. It smelled like, you know, like you can have like a really upset something, like, man, it smells something died to me, like that. But it was like times 1,000. So they were saying it might have been an older man. We don't know. It could have been somebody that had, they were on different medicine that can make it to where you don't feel that it's coming out. They didn't just track it from the bathroom. It was like in the break room up there. And so I was like, baby, you couldn't pay me to use that break room again. I promise you couldn't. And so that happened. I'm saying that because in my dream, once I got to the 7th floor, I knew it was way nastier than just the foot traffic. I knew with the caution signs up and all that, it wasn't giving murder. It was literally just giving biohazard, like what I experienced at work literally this year. And I was like, nah, this is where I draw the line. I got up and I left. When people project and all the stuff that people have gone on in their life, that's not your job to clean that up. I know a man. He's sweet. He's pleasant. He can handle that. There's a team, probably angels, right? That can clean up whatever mess you do make, but it's not me. That is not my job to clean that up. And so where I'm saying I have dreams and I'm having public releases and I am going to the bathroom and stuff, I'm not doing that in a way to where somebody has to clean that up. Just like if you're going to the bathroom, people, like, it's grown folks who missing. It's grown folks who spreading stuff everywhere. Like, how are you even doing that? It's grown people, and people argue when they grew up that their parents didn't teach them how to properly clean themselves, how to not be totally disgusting. Because there's some stuff I hear about work, and I'm like, are you an animal? I don't understand. Are you, like, that goes in the toilet? What is wrong with you? Normal people learn that. Okay. So in a dream, like I said, I got up and God was revealing to me that people don't know how to properly waste, I guess, or have releases, like how I have releases and I always dream that. Like I'm literally always like using the bathroom in a public area or like people are around. A guy, he been telling me public releases for a very long time. Some people think and treat you, or you let yourself be in a position to where it's your job to clean that up, to clean up whatever they need deliverance from, to clean up whatever it is that's a mess, to clean up what I spelled out earlier. It's not my job to do that. And it's some people who, because I was thinking of something to make, and I was like, I don't want to cuss, but it's some people like they not throwing rocks, they throwing boo boo. That's what they're doing. They're trying to spread that's what they're doing. You know who does stuff like that? Monkeys. That's an animal. Humans do not do that. So it's some people they have like that's what they feel like they do at work. Like, what you mean they spread it over the walls? Because in order for a grown tail man to spread feces on the wall, it was in his hand. How did he do that? That's nasty. You living in a way that's barbaric. I don't even live like that. And so it's people trying to bring their mess to your life. And then in this Haley building, the Haley Center, whatever it's called, that's the floor where all types of people are at. So something has had an accident. And how did I end up cleaning it up? That's not my job. It's not my job to help my toxic family members do that. It's not my job to help any of those. I think the reason it was on Auburn's campus is because I do remember going through what I was going through and just not wanting to be there. It was especially when it got bad after my best friend had died. Like I was like, yeah, you can just take me now, God. That's not your fault. That's not your problem. Whatever issues you got, whatever trauma you got, whatever, even if I do triggered in you, it's not my job to clean that up for you. It's not my job to get in that spot and clean that up. That's not my job. And so in the dream, 7th floor, again, I got up and I was like, I'm out. I'm not doing this. I ended up in my office. The girl that started on this office, when I'm sitting there right now, the girl that started on the first floor, she was sitting in here and somebody else is sitting in here because I hyper fixate on things. And so I've just been watching them a lot. And I didn't give her a hug yet. I said, how many floors did you do? And she was like, girl, I didn't even do the first floor. And it was so like, because I still don't understand who told me that was my job. I still can't figure it out. Who told me I was supposed to be cleaning up after people? Who told me to be in here like Cinderella, like cleaning up after them? And then the only thing that really got my attention, because I was doing it at first, was when I got to the floor and it was absolutely disgusting because it was the biohazard caution stuff up. She was like, I didn't even finish the first floor. I left. And I don't know why we feel like we don't have that option. We don't have that choice. Just like I say, all the times I watch Cinderella, I'm like, why didn't she leave? And how you got me in here on my hands and knees scrubbing the floors in my daddy house, and he paid for this. This is his house. Anything you finna be up in here doing this. So it all came together because in the beginning of the dream, God, my daddy, God is in charge, all these things. And I'm sitting up here letting y'all treat me like this. I'm on my hands and knees cleaning up after you. And in a building where suicide is something, or I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, where taking yourself out of here is what happens at that building. People are aware of that. And so my mentee, I thank God literally all of the time. That's their goal. That is the devil moving in them. That's his goal. They want you to take yourself out of here. Now, when me and God talked about it, sometimes it's physical. They want you like, and I deal with people, and it's like, you ain't gonna be happy till I'm dead. I know when I start feeling like that with somebody, I don't need to be around them, because what in you wants to see me not here anymore so bad. And then every time I interact with you, I start to feel like I don't want to be here anymore, because you treat me like my mere existence is a problem, which on the flip side, all you got to do is exist to be blessed. But you treat me like my mere existence is a problem. And so you're putting me in such a low place. I'm in that building where people do kill themselves, cleaning up after people on my hands and knees, scrubbing up a mess that I did not make. That's not my job. And for you to have done this all these years and you making my mental like this, I like, God, I can't do this no more. It's a different type of shift. I cannot do this anymore. And something about her being like, I ain't finished first floor. I ain't do that. No. Why did it take me so many floors of being mistreated? Why did it take me, because that's what that represents, why did it take me getting to the, okay, this is absolutely disgusting, I'm not doing, why did it take me that long? Why haven't I been the type of person that was like, no, you ain't never gonna put me in that type of spot? Like how Cinderella did it for so long until she was like, you know what? Actually, no. And now that I'm in the castle, you can't come in here because of how you treated me in my own daddy's house. The beginning of my dream, who's in charge of everybody? My dad. I was like, oh, okay, I see how this is coming together. Got it. So when I'm in the office, I'm telling her and the other person, I was like, did y'all know my daddy is like in charge of everything? And they was like, no, he is. Then why was you on in that building clean? I was like, it don't even make sense to them. They don't know why I was in there doing that. If your daddy in charge of everything, I'm a princess. This is not to negate the fact that we're not supposed to be humble servants, all that. But people, even when they know you humble, they are really going to try to put you in a spot to where you don't shine. You can shine and be humble. To where you don't believe in yourself. You can believe in yourself and be humble. To where you're not confident, right? You can be confident and be humble. To where you're not fulfilling the calling and the purpose on your life. You can do all of that and be humble. But when they see that you have that heart, that lowly heart, like Jesus, like that, born in a manger, when they see you're like that, that humility, that give them all the more power to think like, oh, well, I can put you right here, just like how they did Cinderella. She's sweet, she's gentle, she's kind, she's not gonna stand up to us. When the whole time that was her inheritance, the whole time, the whole entire time, literally. So I was telling them like, did y'all know my daddy was in charge of everything? And they were like, oh my God, no. Like, why were you doing that then? I was like, I don't know. I don't know what I was saying. They was like, your daddy in charge. Yes. Why are you doing that? Who made you? I was like, I don't know who convinced me that that was my job. I don't know who told me that was my job, but I knew I had all the right in the world to get up and not do it. All the right in the world. And then at the end of the dream, I hugged the girl. I told y'all she's an influencer. She has a big, big following. I hugged her and I was crying and I told her thank you in the dream. I said, thank you for helping me with this. Thank you for inspiring me. And just thank you, thank you, thank you. And I was hugging her and crying, which I even feel like hugging her, that's coming in agreement, right? And the dream ended. But what made me cry was reminding my mama that the Haley Center is the one where they talked about suicide and stuff. Why am I cleaning this building up? But to know God has kept me from that all these years, and He will continue to keep me from that. And He ain't let no Jezebel, no evil, wicked nobody, no ugly sister. He didn't let none of that take me out. And even though I was struggling and in a very low place for a lot of years, that's over now. It's not my job to clean up their hurts and wounds. Not like that. You can be an example of love and light. You can be understanding, but I'm giving that distance because I'm not going to be so understanding that I put myself in a spot God Himself is not putting me in. Jesus can take all that on. Like I said, and if they got to bring in a team to help somebody, that's angels. It's not my job to take all the projection, because even when you think somebody's talking about this kind of nasty, I'm so sorry, y'all. Somebody was talking about projectile vomiting on something the other day. And that's what they're doing. Like we see it as just, oh, they're projecting. Baby, they is throwing up the most crazy stuff on you right now spiritually, and you're letting them. They are, this saying, I keep trying not to spell the bad word, but dating on somebody, all that, there's spiritual stuff when it comes to that. Why are you doing that? And not only that, why are you letting them defecate and all that on you? But like you sitting up there and you feel like it's your job. You're not doing that to me no more. Humbly, I'm not taking on none of that no more. You better learn how to go to the bathroom like a normal person with the Lord or something. I'm just not doing that anymore. And I can't help but thank God, literally, for keeping me. I don't know what Jezebel's problem was, because when I think about Jezebel, I think about just wickedness. I don't think like, oh, Jezebel went through a lot. No, her daddy was wicked. Pretty sure her daddy was wicked. And then she married Ahab, and Ahab played around. And then she went to spread all their practices and evil stuff throughout his kingdom. And this reminded me of one of my first warning words. And I was like, God is disgusted. Like when you talk about things being detestable and all those things, and how even like if you lukewarm, God will spit you out of His mouth. detestable. In that dream I had years ago, it's one of my first videos about a warning. The demons, the devils were doing disgusting things at the table. Literally, like I was at the table, and what we think, like if we're at a table, we're gonna be seeing food, edible food, all these things. That's not what they had on the table. What they had on the table was absolutely disgusting, like biohazard, disgusting. And in a dream, I was like, and scooted straight back. And what he was telling me in a dream was that he pulls you out of the kingdom of darkness, and which is another little word I wrote down over here, and he places you into the kingdom of his dear son, right? And I even had another dream where the demons were getting the women pregnant, and that was also disgusting. Whenever I am in, like, whenever God is showing me something and it's freakishly demonic, it's always disgusting. I'm even remember some dreams Pretty Boss has talked about, and it was like, that's nasty. It's always bodily functions and just gross. That's not God. That's not his kingdom. That's not God. And when you think about it, that is waste, right? That is waste. That stuff is supposed to be coming out of you, but it's supposed to be going into a toilet or something. You know what I'm saying? So I think spiritual eyes help me see that differently. And it's quite nasty. I wrote a post on Facebook and I was talking about how I can feel the disgust. And it's so funny, isn't it? People will make you feel like they're disgusted by you. Like you just being in the room disgust them. Like the lighting, you just disgust me. They turn their nose up, all this stuff. They make it feel like you're disgusting. And it's really them. But on Facebook, I had asked, like, can you ever feel the disgust when somebody greets you or compliments you or something, like, your hair is nice? Like, why did you do that like that? Or I don't like when old ladies, that's what I'm saying. Like, this whole, like, you a op and you 60 plus, you really need to get out of my face. But I don't like when an old lady speak to me and she's acting so bothered that she had to speak to me. Good morning, Megan. You really could have kept that. And in the post, I said you could have kept that in your nasty tail heart, because that's what's nasty. Demons are nasty. Treating people like you ain't got no sense, nasty. Disgusting. Bullying people, disgusting. You so intimidated and threatened by them that you want them to hate themselves, and you do all this, and you sit up at night because the wicked can't sleep. I learned that in college. That I was getting bullied down so bad in college, harassed and stalked so bad in college. That's when God taught me that. The wicked can't sleep at night because you laid up and you like, what can I do to interfere with her life? What can I do to sabotage her? What can I do to make her life hard? You're disgusting. You are disgusting. I was never disgusting. You are disgusting. Your heart is filthy. Your mind is filthy. Your life is filthy. And it's not my job to clean that up. That's a job for Jesus. That is a job for the Lord, not me. And I let people put all their nastiness over here on me, and I'm feeling the nastiness and I don't understand what's going on and I don't want to be. No, I do want to be here. I'm lit. I'm clean. Cleanliness is next to godliness. That's another way you know that. God is not like that. Like every time I have dreams that I'm in that like demonic dark realm, it's always nasty. They don't clean up down there. It's gross. Even how people say, like, if you're one, I will say this, if stuff ain't clean and organized, it does affect your mind. But even when they say like your room and stuff not clean, and then different spirits and stuff, they try to move in and hide and do all that. I'm like, it might be some truth to that. I don't know where that's at in the Bible, but it might be some truth to that. Because I don't even think cleanliness is close to godliness. I don't even know if that's scripture. I don't know who came up with that. But I do believe that though. You know what I'm saying? So all these years, you not, good morning, Megan. If you don't go somewhere with that nasty heart, go somewhere. You're not gonna have me. What did I do wrong? All years of all of that will really wear and tear on you. And it just break you down, break you down, break you down, break you down. Next thing you know, you scrubbing on the floor. How did I get here? How did I get here? I was wondering that on the first few floors, like, why am I down here? But that seventh floor, I was like, oh, complete what? Ain't no cycle of y'all treating me like I'm less than going to be completed. And at the beginning of the year, and we were talking about marriage, I said that you think you're inferior to these people. They treat you like they're just so above you and stuff when they're disgusting. And they treat you like you nobody, you less than, right? And then for the husbands, it was feeling like a failure or disappointment. I didn't realize how all this over the years has really affected me. Like I knew God was telling me not to think I was less than, but I didn't realize like how less than I really thought I was. And I'm like, wow, this is interesting. And again, this all started with I asked them to help me get over my friends and family. Now in college, no, I would not say they was my friends. They was just hating. They was intimidated. Never wanted boys to give me attention. Never even wanted to do this attention, if I'm being honest. They was intimidated by me. I'm sure looks, I'm sure gifts. They were always trying to hide me. That's definitely what that felt like. Because I remember meeting people and they were like, "You? How? I didn't. Where you been?" I'm like, "I'm never invited. They don't invite me. They don't want people to know I exist. They literally trying to hide me. Like that's like Cinderella. But you let them. You let them do that. You get what I'm saying? So, and that's what me and my babies talked about today. Anybody that's trying to bring mess into your life, like you ain't no rock thrower, you a boo boo thrower. That's what I'm gonna start telling people because they start mess. They that's what they do. Now I'm starting to see it like that. What you're not gonna do is bring that filthy, disgusting stuff over here. And I said that a lot this year. I will always say some particular person's behavior was disgusting, and I didn't know why I was so like all these years. She made it seem like my light, my happiness, me telling the truth was so disgusting and abominable to her, right? Like it's always been like that. And then all of a sudden this year, it was like, actually, you disgust me. The way you treat people is absolutely disgusting. And that was my word this year. And I told him, you're not going to make me be around somebody with such disgusting behavior, period. And it all just came together in a dream the other day. I was like, that's literally disgusting. Literally. Even when you have to clean stuff up like that, you have to have on like special suits. Like I'm thinking about like Monsters Inc. and how they acted with the kids. Like you couldn't be exposed to the kids. You gotta have on like the biohazard suits and all that to where you're not infected by it. You're not infected or get sick by it. So what do you think is happening to people all these years and they gotta live in a house with somebody that's always throwing disgusting stuff around? All that evilness, all that wickedness, all that hatred. You don't think you ain't gonna get sick from that? You don't think you're not gonna get sick from that? You're gonna get sick from that. Even think about like a zombie because I love correlating narcissists to zombies. That just makes more sense to me. But how they have different wounds and it's oozing and infecting. No, no, no. I'm not doing it no more. Pristine is a word God gave me. Do y'all remember that? I did a Cinderella word that may not be. It might be private. It probably is private. It was the one I did. I think I did it in March. Definition. You know what pristine means? Unspoiled, clean and fresh, spotless. What type of bride is Christ coming back for? It ain't one who throws disgusting stuff at people. It ain't one like that. I promise you, it ain't one like that. He is not coming back for a woman like that. And I've been thinking about this all day. You know how crazy it's got to be a man and you realize like your wife really the real deal, like a hater, and like she really got a nasty heart. That would eat me up. You know how crazy it feel when you dating somebody and you like, ew, you ain't got no character. Imagine being a man and it's like, I know I did not just marry a girl. I'm not dating a girl who hate her nice, sweet cousin. What did she do to you? God dropped that girl so fast. I'm not dealing with nobody that hates. I don't. That is so. Jealousy is ugly. That's what my parents always tell me too. Jealousy is very ugly. So it's not. It's that stuff just ugly and disgusting, and I'm not doing it anymore. I'm gonna get around people who know how to go to the bathroom. Like I'm gonna quit this job. What you mean they don't know how to go to the bathroom? There was a problem that they was having with the men. That's why I thought it was kind of racist. Some people be apparently at work, they don't this is a thing. There's a reason God is correlating all this to this. People at work, I've heard the worst stories. They mad at their boss, they don't like their boss, so they use the bathroom in their hand and go leave it in the boss's office. Who does that? So you're telling me people not doing that in the spiritual realm? They don't like you so bad that they're not trying to spread all their nastiness in your life. That's why you ain't coming in my house. That's why you're not coming in my house. We're talking about my physical house or my heart. You're not coming in here and doing all that extra nasty stuff. We're not doing that. Some people don't have sense. They don't have good sense. They don't have it. They don't got no home training. They ain't got no good spiritual hygiene. No. That's nasty. And you are a grown person. So somewhere along the line, somebody failed you. Your parents ain't teach you no better. You used to do that when you was little and you get no butt whipping. Or you just chose to continue to be a disgusting human being. Who does that? Who does that? Now, I will also throw in some people can't control it. Because they were saying that's what happened with that man. He might have been on some medicine. But even then, people were still holding him accountable because they were saying they don't understand how that happened. Because if you are on a medicine like that, they usually tell you that something like that can transpire. So he should have had on a diaper if he was an older gentleman struggling with certain issues. That's what they kept saying. I said, okay. Somebody told me they had an incident at the store where a organ or something was getting close to rupturing and it caused them to have explosive, stuff happen. And there are instances where people cannot control it, but that's when like they didn't mean to do that. See how it's all connected? And so it goes back to what I said in the beginning. What it could have felt like disgust. How they talked to you could have felt like disgust and really mean, but you knew they didn't mean that. Whereas other people, they did that on purpose. That was intentional. Ain't no way that got in the office without you actually doing that. And then they caught you on camera. That's the crazy part because I've mentioned cameras a couple times. God sees them doing all that. God sees. So some people really might have incidents like that. And it's like, baby, I was not supposed to be nowhere near that. You ever got sick and you threw up? Because that's the only time I can think of something like that has happened. I actually didn't get to the bathroom in time, but my mama really didn't play that. Like, you better get to the bathroom in time. So that's only happened a couple times in my life. But that has transpired and it was an accident. That's what I'm saying. Some people, they really might be having a bad day and they snap, but the Holy Spirit is going to be telling you they didn't mean that. But for people who like you, this is who you are. You are this disgusting. This is who you are. You're not even trying to control it. And you're not going to make me feel like I'm so less than that it's my job to clean up after you and all these people. I think about all the people over my life that has treated me so bad from little to now. And it's like, yeah, no. And also, when you think about those people, are their lives even really good now? Majority of my list, no, because it's very rare that people turn over a new leaf like that, or even like repent. Now, for me, all the times where I really felt like I need to say sorry to somebody, I reached out and publicly, or not publicly, I reached out and like actually said something to them. It's so many people that I feel like I wonder, like, has God ever hit them and be like, you really should apologize to Megan? But I know the type of person I am because I was going to write a Facebook post about that too. I don't do fake apologies and I don't do fake kumbaya moments. Don't come on my face trying to waste my time to do that because then them same type of people are going to try to gaslight you. But this boy from high school wrote me this year and he was like, I'm so sorry I called you the B word in class. And I was like, dang, I don't even remember that. Because at that point, I was already really used to like people just being mean to me just for no reason. And you have that wholeness. Got candy in my hand. You have that wholeness we were talking about yesterday, and you walk in and you maybe don't have the stresses and the pressures that they have at home. And so it might irritate them to see you happy that day and they know you don't have those worries and stuff. And so they're mean to you. I've been dealing with that my whole life. But there is a level of like, I understand that. I recognize I'm blessed. I recognize that who much is given, much is required. So I have had to deal with a lot of projection and all that. I have, but some stuff is like the people I cut off this year, you got me totally messed up. But he apologized for that. And he was like, no, that's kind of bothered me for some time. I hope you know I didn't mean that. And I don't know what would have made me say that to you. The enemy, but it's okay. Probably moved through a womb. And I was like, I do not hold that against you. I barely even remember what you're talking about. Like, I really had to sit there and be like, I was like, did you do that in art class? He was like, I think so. I'm like, it's cool. It's fine. But then you got people like the boy that actually was mean to me, giving me the little marks and crazy stuff in sixth grade. He never apologized for that. And he got arrested for beating up another woman. And he's still struggling in life. Some people, that is who they are. Some people really do like, you know what? I'm sorry. I shouldn't have did that. I'm really sorry. So I just, and then, what else makes me mad? Think about all the times I apologize to people and I didn't do nothing wrong. And those are the people who wanted you to be in a lowly place. Everybody I've gave an apology to and I did nothing wrong, they're still evil. They're still wicked. And they just wanted me to feel like I wasn't who I am indeed. Who I am indeed. I said that right. That's it. I'm like, I only regret, I put that on Facebook. I regret two things: that Barbie party and saying sorry to people when I wasn't sorry for nothing. Like, not a thing. Imagine saying sorry and it was an instance of reactive abuse. You've been harassing me, bullying me, being mean to me for years. And the moment I snap, now everybody making me feel bad. And I never still did that. And I say sorry to you. And then when you do that, that makes them feel like they didn't do nothing wrong. And that's them doing that power trip thing again. because you were actually right to be upset. You had no business apologizing, but you're so sweet. You're so innocent. You're so compassionate. You love God. I shouldn't have did that. Now, as soon as you come back and you say sorry, when it's them that should have been apologizing to you, now the power's off. Now the imbalance is off. Now you might as well be back on the floor scrubbing the ground for mess that they made. You didn't even make the mess. They made the mess, but you sorry? That's the position that puts you in. Get up. Get up off the floor. Stand up straight. Like, literally, doormat, no. No backbone, no backbone, no. Like, I'm not doing that with anybody. And literally, all the people I apologize to, I'm like, wow, such good manipulation of you. You wanted me to feel like the loser that you are. And I'm not saying you a loser because for people and that really is their job. I'm just talking about what that represents spiritually. Like, that's actually insane. I cannot believe I said sorry to you. Sorry for what? What am I sorry for? That you nasty? Imagine that. Imagine somebody using the bathroom in their hand and throwing it at you, and you say sorry. You know how stupid that looks? Do you know how dumb that looks? Do you know how dumb that looks? What are you sorry for exactly? What are you sorry for? So I spent my whole life doing that. But I'm really not good with fake apologies. I remember they tried to do a fake kumbaya moment in college, and I was just in there looking at everybody. They was like they was crazy. Crazy. I was like, and I think that's why I don't believe that. And I don't know if God is warning us for fake apologies coming up, because usually when I start thinking about you can keep that apology, somebody is gonna try it. But I'm so sensitive. If you're telling me sorry and you mean it, I'm going to cry. I know when people aren't crying for real or not sincere and it's just crocodile tears, because I don't feel that. I don't feel an ounce of that. It don't move me at all. If I can watch a movie and cry, and that means they was pulling from a real place, genuine place, with acting that scene out, but I'm standing around you and you sorry and it don't move me at all, you're not actually sorry. You're not sincere. And you're trying to gaslight me even further. And that kumbaya moment was also trying to say it was my fault. That's all I'm believing at. We're not gonna have no big fake unity. I ain't doing that with nobody, because half the time they're not sincere. It's not real. You just trying to gaslight me and still make me feel like it's my fault. And now where am I? Back in that dumb spot. I cannot do that anymore in life. I really can't. And then people be like, well, you got to hear them out. I ain't got to hear nobody out, because for the last years, and we've grown. So if I'm 31, we've been old enough for a long time. For a very long time. You knew exactly what you was doing. You just thought I was going to keep letting you throw mess at me. Project mess and filth at me. That's what you thought. You thought I was gonna keep letting you wipe your feet on me. You thought I was just gonna keep letting you punch me. No, I don't gotta hear nobody out. Nobody. Because didn't nobody hear me out when I was asking you to stop treating me like that. Nobody heard me out when I was asking that. Nobody. But I was supposed to sit here. No. And if I do, it'll be on my time. And my time should be God's time. It's not going to be because you manipulated me or wanted me to sit down with somebody that's been treating me like this for years. We grown. You knew exactly what you was doing. You're not sorry. You're sorry because I will no longer be in that position for you. You clean your own mess up. And that's what a narcissist don't like. If their punching bag removes themselves, guess what their options are? Get a new punching bag or actually sit there and deal with themselves. They're not going to sit there and deal with themselves. They're going to go get another dummy, because you're not the dummy no more, to be the punching bag. When you leave that weird tail family dynamic and you're no longer there as a doormat, and I told my mama that. I said, you know you next, right? And that's why some people don't speak up, because if Megan don't let them treat them like that no more, treat her like that no more, they're going to try to see somebody else. They're going to start treating somebody else like that. And I told her that. I was like, you already know you next, sis, because you sweet. And you don't say nothing. And you don't like confrontation. It didn't take too long. Oh, guess who she's bothering now? It ain't me. That's why people don't speak up for you, because they already know they don't want to be the next doormat. Oh, okay, well, y'all all gonna have to find another doormat and punching bag, because it will not be Megan. I promise you it won't be me. So, yeah. And that boy told me, that ex, he was like, you treat me like a, what did he say? Either something about spit on the ground, or maybe spit you wipe off your shoe, or boo-boo you wipe off your shoe. Something crazy. I never even heard it saying like that until he said it. And when he said I treated him like that, I was like, I treat him? That threw me off. Like, it be like, that's what I was like. Ain't nobody ever told me that. That's the same person who told me I was evil. He was evil, full of demons, and he treated me like that. Now, whether or not his mama treated him like that, that could very well be true. But Megan did not treat him like that. So that was crazy to me. I said, I'm evil? I should have known then. Like, oh God, this man just told on himself. He's evil. The devil is talking to me. The devil can't tell the truth. Come on, Holy Spirit. The devil cannot tell the truth. He's going to lie. Anything somebody like that says is a lie. You're stupid. Nah, you stupid. you got half of it right. Somebody stupid. It ain't me. You ugly. You ugly. Somebody ugly. It is not Megan. It's you and that filthy, disgusting heart that you have in there. Like, is you cool? And The Weakest Link is a game. I looked it up last night, and she does say goodbye. I said I thought I watched that when I was little, but yeah. So not doing that anymore. And I'm also getting to a point too where I don't think enablers are necessarily disgusting. I think enablers just have not found the courage to like speak up, speak against it, hold people accountable, whether it's drugs or their behavior. That's what me and my mom was talking about. It's people who understand all day, even helping them out of financial binds. You don't want to enable nobody like that. It's people who understand, because why? That's a job for the Lord. It's not your job. You get in God's way, right? But it's crazy. I cut people off in phases because we was talking about the enabling part. That's what I was just saying. I cut people off in phases this year. And the first phase was the miserable rhymes with no. She got cut off first. And in some instances, it was a man. They got cut off first. The second phase was people who were in close proximity to the people who got cut off in the first phase. Okay. The third phase is really like, do I want to cut off the people who are enabling disgusting behavior? I've said that so many times this year. Like, because now you're the problem. You see how they treat me. You see they always throwing stuff over here. You see they always causing mess and drama and doing all this. You see this and you want to hold them accountable. You want me to ignore it the way you do. Nah. And that makes me want to cut them people off too. I'm like, I haven't initiated phase 3, but I got a list of phase 3ers. And my parents know. Well, my mama ain't on either list anymore. She used to be a phase 3er. But I've had to be really serious with them. Keep playing with me. Or keep trying to make me go over there and get treated like that. You can cut off too. Think it's a game. I think it's a game. It's not. You will be blocked. So I don't know. I love having boundaries. I love this for me because I prayed this for me. I didn't want my children to go through what I went through. I don't want my kids to feel like they got to tolerate disgusting behavior because you don't. The Bible says that I hold this against you. You sufferest, you tolerate that woman Jezebel, and I won't be doing it anymore. Jezebel's disgusting. I'm pretty sure that's one of the words that they use to describe her in the Bible. They did detestable acts of worship to those false gods. That's the word is. Let's look at detestable because remember, pristine is God's side. It's clean. It's unspoiled. It's spotless. It's neat. It's tidy. That's God. Detestable, I'm pretty sure is like disgusting, abominable. That says there's a Bible definition and a regular definition. Detestable is deserving intense dislike or it's hateful behavior, which is it says abominated. Oh, abominable. Look at me. Disgusting, distasteful, horrible, all words I would use to describe the family members I cut off. Obnoxious, nauseating. That's a good one. Like, imagine telling somebody that you make me nauseous. But here's the thing, they really do make me sick. Like, you think people just saying that in a saying way, like, you make me sick. My whole life, y'all have truly made me sick because the things are on you, they're disgusting. And when I get around you, it makes me sick. You literally make me sick. Your love of gossip, your love of being messy, your love of digesting the misfortune of others, you make me sick, literally. Detestable. That's what the word means. It also says, I wonder if this means execrable. I didn't want to mess that up. Execrable. It says extremely bad or unpleasant, despised, hateful. The opposite of that, guess what that is? Lovable, admirable. And God was telling me people are jealous because of that too. You know, people can have popularity, but they're not lovable people. They're not lovable. God was like, you're a lovable person. I said, oh, okay, that's nice. People can be popular, get more likes than you, all that stuff that does not matter, and they're not actual lovable. They're not even likable people. Why? They're disgusting. That's why. They're detestable. They're hateful. You don't even know. All you give is hate. The hate you give. I never watched that movie because I know me. I get worked up. but they're not lovable people. Lovable, ask me what the definition of that is. Inspiring, okay, like the Lord. Deserving love or affection. And that is the post I put on Facebook. I felt very loved today. My baby that gave me these, let me tell you how love I felt today. She gave me these candies because she heard me say they were my favorite. I had one little boy come and he didn't even come with his dad or his sister. I said, "You just missed us?" He was like, "Yeah." I was like, and I had a baby on FaceTime today. One of our babies that hasn't been here, I let her friend stay on FaceTime and she was actually answering questions and participating. I was like, you're lovable. You don't do nasty stuff. Because even if people can't articulate or explain what I just explained in the spiritual realm, people know how you make them feel. That's what people are not going to forget. People know that they're not running up behind, chasing behind grown-ups that are not lovable, likable, actually nice. Even if they can't articulate it, they're just not going to do that because they don't like them like that. People hate you because you are lovable, but you're lovable because you're sincere. You're lovable because you don't have a nasty heart. That's what people miss. And you jealous, and your jealousy festering in your heart is all the more reason why you're not lovable or likable. That's why. And sometimes I feel like I be talking because the people I be talking about, because they are, why are you so obsessed with me? They blocked on everything else. If I was crazy and I couldn't see nobody or nothing else, I would try to watch their YouTube too. But that's why you're not lovable. You're not a nice person. You're nasty. And it says detestable and abominable means something that is repugnant to God. And I don't care what nobody say. I know what I'm saying is legitimate because one of the scriptures I lived by in college was let our lives be a sweet fragrance to God. Vomit, any bodily functions, all that stuff we were just talking about, that's not a sweet fragrance. You're nasty. You smell bad to God. Your life does not smell good to God. Means something that is repugnant to God, violating his standards and holiness. Oh, did y'all know breaking some dietary laws is detestable? But it makes sense because what are you ingesting? Because I've been thinking about spiritual diets lately. Like you literally feed on the misfortune of others. Okay. It's offensive to God's nature. Oh, this is good. Y'all be on Google all day looking up words. And I saw my live from earlier in the year where I had told y'all, he told me my vernacular is changing. Mm-mm. This list is crazy. Repugnant. Oh, I said these words. Okay. Repugnant is distasteful and unacceptable. And like I said, I never had the privilege of acting in an unacceptable manner or distasteful behavior. So some of my family members that's been getting by all these years and that people just let them act like that, I'm like, my 7-year-old will have more sense than you. My 5-year-old will have more sense than you. I don't know how you think you can act like that at that big age. What in you thought that was acceptable? But this is my life. This is my story. This is Megan's, stuff. I'm sorry, girl. Girl, me and me and my sister from another mister was talking, and she was like, if I can smell like the meat, I know I don't need to be eating it. And I'm realizing she is very sensitive, like that too. And she was like if the fish smells too fishy, I don't eat it. I said, I know exactly what you're talking about. And I was telling her this one time at the house because my family got mad at me. My mama had brought some pizza in and it had sausage on it. And I was like, oh my God, do y'all smell that? And they were like, Megan, don't start. And I was like, something is wrong with the pizza. And no, nobody else smelled it. Everybody was eating the pizza. And literally every time I smelled the pizza, I was like, how are y'all eating that? I ain't eat that pizza that night. They said they ain't smell nothing. Okay, then what's wrong with me? Why do I smell that? And I've been through that. Like when I lived in the apartment, even though I was going through a hard time, I did a fast once, and it was like I could tell how the cow died. It was just horrible. And I started crying, cooking the beef. I said, oh my gosh, am I supposed to be a vegetarian, God? What's happening? Like I was so sensitive to the animal that I was about to cook. I said, this can't be normal. But I talked to my auntie about that once. She said she had that happened to her before. I said, okay. Made me feel this crazy. But no, I don't be knowing what that is. Like, why can I smell the animal today? Like, was this animal really killed in a really bad way? Or caught in a really bad, you know what I'm saying? Like, why can I smell it today? Any other time I don't smell it. What is going on today? So that's always been interesting. Ooh. Kiki. I had like a fruit fast, I think, in an apartment. And I was like, nah, I can't eat beef no more. I barely eat beef. Like cook it at the house. Since then, if I make spaghetti and stuff, I usually try to do turkey. I do that kind of traumatized me. I was like, why am I crying? Morgan was like, why are you crying? I was standing over the stove in complete tears. I said, something bad happened to the cow. She's like, what? Something bad happened to the cow. Like they're not all killed so we can eat them. I was like, no, but something really bad happened to this cow. But the last time that happened weirdly was that pizza and everybody ate it. And I was like, they didn't get sick, but someone told me don't eat it because why can I smell the animal on this pizza? No, absolutely not. But your dream about cleaning and ending up on a waste like acid floor, and I had to wear acid resistant suit to clean, that is very much so given toxic environment. And I mean extremely toxic environment. Because I hit that, right? Like the team has to come in with like a biohazard suit on. That is nothing but a toxic environment. That is not healthy for you. And I remember different conversations with you. Kiki, you are so sweet. Like, don't let nobody don't let nobody make the narrative of your life something that is not, because that's them and it is not you. You not crazy, you not dumb. You're one of the sweetest souls I've ever met. You are none like I just know how people are. And when I went to they will try to call you everything you're not, and it's everything that they are. But I went on a outing with work friends. Okay, I'm trying to bitch up because I don't even know what I've already told y'all or not. I went on an outing with work friends, and I felt like God let me interact with an angel that day through a work friend because I'm so sensitive. I be knowing like, was that an angel or did the Holy Spirit just happen to you? Why would you say that? And sometimes I don't even remember what they said, but I was telling them more about me because they wanted to get to know a little bit more about me. So I was telling them, and we ended up talking about all types of stuff. And I was sharing with him like the different stuff I've experienced over the years and how different relationships have gotten worse and all this. And he was just like, "Oh, so you the truth teller in the family?" I was like, "Yeah, that's me." And he was like, "She must really have some issues if she treating you like that." Because I mean, I know I haven't known you that long. That's what he was saying. Because sometimes you can meet people and you do get a different type of, like, they could have just been pretending. But I'm really sensitive. Like, half the time, if somebody got me, it's because I ignore all the red flags ahead of time. I have not got on no call with none of y'all and just been like, oh, this girl is eat. No, Kiki, you are one of the sweetest people I know. Literally. Like, and I'm a sweet, I think you're sweeter than me. You are a very sweet person, very kind, and that's not to say you can't turn up because you probably are fiery and passionate, but I know you are sweet. Like I would never describe you as anything that's not sweet. I would never do that. But he was telling me like, I mean, I know I just met you, but I can't figure out why anybody would hate you that much. Like what you could be out here doing I telling the truth, existing, breathing. I don't know what I'd be doing either. And he was just telling me like, well, you know, that's like they trauma and they stuff that they got going on, right? Exactly. That's why you can't take it personal. He was like, because I know you ain't did nothing for her to treat you like that. Not a thing. You would think every bad thing that happened to certain family members, I caused it, how they act. You would literally think it was my fault that it happened to them. You can't feel like that. It's not your fault. Whatever it is they did go through, you cannot feel like that. Even stuff with my parents, I don't blame them. Even though I could sit here and be like, oh, it was your fault. But I don't treat them like that. I do not treat them like that. And it's not their fault. It's sin's fault. But it's people I know on both sides of my family who act like every bad thing that ever happened to them, I somehow did it. And something me and my mom was talking about, we had a little thing, and she was like, I know it hurt your feelings. Not me and my mom. I had something going on with one of my babies. And she was like, I know it hurt your feelings, but sometimes when we do see people as the ones that make sure nothing bad can happen to us, we do get mad at them when bad stuff happens to us. So you're telling me you understand that about me and my baby, but you don't understand about me and you? Ma'am. Anyways, not why we're here. And they was ignoring me and not talking to me like it was my fault that the bad thing had happened. And I'm scared that's gonna happen with me and my kids, because that threw me off and it happened with me and that person. And I was like, not my baby. Like, why are you acting like that? Why are you acting like it's my fault? Like, you mad at me because that happened. I'm not God. I didn't cause that. And I also wasn't able to stop it. So my mom has explained a lot of things to me over the years, like how she was very angry at my dad when my granddaddy died, because she does see my daddy as this. And I thought you could stop it. But that's when you have to really remember, like, okay, your husband isn't God though. And as much as dad say today, and dad does everything he can to make sure you're not hurting, he couldn't stop granddaddy from passing away. And she was like, that was hard. And I was like, makes sense, valid. I do think I struggled that way with my parents, because it's like, y'all are so perfect to me in any other regard. So anything that's like not perfect to me, it's like, it feels very catastrophic. And like, how could you? When really it's like, they're humans. I know I do that to my daddy. That's big boss. He holds it down. Okay. And so she was explaining that to me. But I feel like with some people, it's warped. And so they see the light of God in you. They see the love of God in you. And they're mad at you because they feel God in you, when really they're mad at God for whatever it may be, what they experienced, where they are in life, how they mom and them treated them, the cards they was dealt, and they try to take that out on you. They try to project that all out on you and throw stuff at you, like, excuse me. And that's just not the right mindset to have. Like, I could get that with family. I can understand a lot of stuff with family sometimes. But then some people, it's like, baby, I ain't slept with you and we not even cool like that. So why are you trying to bother me? We should not have no type of dealings like that. No, it should not be that. How you think I'm your punching bag? We ain't did nothing together. Like, nothing. Nothing. We don't share no blood, nothing. And then even when it comes to family, it's still like, okay, so we might have grew up together. You was horrible even back then. We may share some blood, but I'm still my own person. You're your own person, and your relationship with God, that's a you thing. You can't be, and y'all, I'm telling you, it's a hard thing. I felt so loved this week, and I was like, God, that's so crazy. And my other baby, he loves me. And I was telling my mom, I was like, he loves me. And she was like, he does. We've been trying to tell you that. He's older. He supports everything I do. It's about who you are as a person. His mama, blocked. Now, he could easily just choose not to fool with me no more, not to like me no more, because I blocked his mama. But some people have sense. He know his mama was the problem. What could I have possibly did to y'all ever? Nothing. It's a choice. It's who people want to be, how they want to live. I want to be around good people, sweet people, people who inspire me, people who motivate me. And I'm not going to cut that out of my life because somebody who ain't got no sense raised me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a people thing. My daddy could be totally different. Totally different. I thank God he's not. He could be totally different. He could be very stunted in life. He could be very, like how I see other men are when they were in the same situations, but he's not like that. His heart is different. That's really a gift. And he gets so much hate. Like, the older I get, the more he tells me certain stuff. And that's why I understand why he pushes me to just ignore it and keep going, which I couldn't just do that on his time. I had to figure that out on my own. So he's already figured that out. And so when I'm going through different things, he wants me to just get over it and ignore it and this. And I'm like, Dad, I'm so processing so much stuff. Like, it don't work like that. But now that I'm I'm like, okay, I think it did shift. It's like, okay, yeah, I hear what you're saying. Ignore it. Keep pushing. But he's very and as are most men, he's very solution oriented. And so sometimes when you're solution oriented, because I'm not a man and I feel like I'm solution oriented. So even if, so say we're doing a coaching call and you're telling me something, my job as a life coach is not to like coddle you, especially when you're telling me this is the goal. I have to tell you what you need to do to get to the goal. However, I also have to recognize that I have to acknowledge how you're feeling and help validate that your experiences and stuff for you, while also trying to push you to do what you need to do to reach the goal. And so sometimes with my dad, that step is missed. I feel like with a lot of men that I love, that step is missed. Like, can we please just sit here and talk about how I feel? Please. Like, I just need you to let me know, like, I'm justified in how I feel. And when, like, sometimes all it takes is, are you right? They shouldn't have did that, babe. Exactly. And then I'm gonna move on. But if I'm trying to talk to you and vent about how I feel and you making me sound crazy for how I feel, I'm probably not gonna move on, because now I'm mad at you too. I'm mad at you and I'm mad about whatever just happened. That's how I am. So I try to keep that in mind with people. Like, I need to acknowledge how you feel and help you validate whatever it is. And then if it's some stuff that's out of my lane, that's when I'm going to recommend therapy, because I have to know what my job is as a coach, but I'm supposed to help you accountable and help you do the things you need to do to reach your goal. That's how that works. So I understand my parents now. Like, it shouldn't have phased you. It shouldn't have, but it did. And I needed to work through stuff within me that was like, why did you let that phase you? But I said that some time ago. I think it gets to you when you don't really know who you are. But it's like they didn't even give you a chance to figure out who you are. That's what I'm telling you. This is the first time in my life where it's really been like, wow, nobody's really bothering me. I cut off like a lot of people, but it's like, okay, God, who did you say I am again? Because all these years when he's been trying to show me who I am, baby, they was beating me down before I had a chance to even be like, oh God, I'm those things. Like, they was telling me the opposite before I even had a chance. And so I think that makes me that I'm gonna be very intentional about my babies. And like my mom, she was like, you think we weren't telling you certain stuff because we didn't believe that about you. We didn't know you were struggling to believe that about you. I was like, yes, because it didn't matter that y'all were telling me this stuff at the house, that y'all were affirming me and doing these different things, because every time I went around y'all, people was treating me opposite. So it didn't really balance. Like, they was doing everything they could to make sure that whatever my mom and them was saying, whatever God was saying, what they said was louder. I let that be louder for so many years. And it was like, it never should have been. Whatever Greg Haywood said about his baby, that should have been the end of it, right? But even in learning that, like, God, whatever he said about his baby, like in a dream, my daddy's in charge of everything. That should have been the end of it. And I really do believe that's why I never questioned if anybody. You can't call me ugly. My daddy called me pretty way too much. You can never call me ugly. And my mama called me smart way too much for you to ever call me dumb. And I believe that. But it was some things they didn't necessarily say, because they were like, well, I thought you knew that. The other day, we're a funny family, right? We had family dinner and it was more than just us. And we did a rate how mean we are from 1 to 10. My mom said 5 for me. I was like, I'm a 5. I said, I feel like you're saying that because you think that me telling the truth so bluntly makes me mean. And I don't like that. She was like, it's not even that. It's when you are mean, it's really like, I'm like, okay, I got to give her that. Because I'm not a mean person. I can be mean though. I think that's the difference. And I try not to be. And then we were all doing ratings and it was hilarious. The least mean person was my sister from another mister. And we all agreed, even though her kids was like her. And I'm like, baby, she would harm a fly. She would not harm a fly. She's sweet. And I'm loving being around girls who are just as sweet or sweeter than me. I can't be around no pit bull. Take your miserable self somewhere else. I'm not doing this. I'm not. I want my life to feel like a fairy tale. I told my mom that. I was already saying that, but I'm for real now. You ain't finna be coming over here bringing no ugly stepsister energy. You're not doing it. You're not bringing villain energy over here. All it should be is baking and princesses and nice clothes, and that's all I care about. I don't care how old he is. That's how I should feel. That's what we're doing. And then We got to my dad, and we definitely didn't rate him what we would have rated him in a previous year. And his answer was, no, y'all know I'm doing a lot better. And we all bust out laughing because his was always kind of excused because he was the dad and a soldier. But even then, I think you still got to be soft for your wife and your kids. And I do think that's something our generation is kind of expressing and talking about more than the previous generation. The previous generation was more so providing and all of that. And this generation, I'm like, no, I want my kids to have a daddy that they can go and cry to. And I had to tell my daddy that as an adult. I've had to tell him that recently. Like sometimes you just gotta let me cry. I don't know what's wrong, but in my mind, my daddy can fix it. And so yes, I just want you to let me cry. And y'all know what they did for me this year? They let me cry. And I felt so much better since then. Like, who knew? Who knew? I'll tell y'all about that later. But that's all I have, y'all. Oh. Okay, yeah, book Kiki. Oh, thank you. I miss you. I don't think I attract mean women. Like I think I attract them, but I'm talking about like this, like my channel, what I do. Even the girls on TikTok, none of them give like this mean. The only time a girl on TikTok has gave mean is when they were trying to tell me that I did not look 16. I was like, you're a hater. You're mad because you don't look 16. But that's the only time. Whenever I'm talking about real life stuff, the way they comment, the way they talk, it does not give mean girl. I'm not a mean girl. I shouldn't be called to people that are. I should be called to people that are like me, that they're gonna understand my voice. They're gonna hear my voice. I don't deal with no ugly people. I don't deal with no mean people. I ain't never had no ugly client. I never had when I first started YouTube and y'all would comment and stuff, I was like, oh, she's pretty. Like I would try to, you can't zoom in on the profiles on YouTube. I'm like, oh, she's pretty. And y'all will always be nice and sweet. That's why I'm just like, I ain't no way you telling me that. I know my tribe. They're nice. They're sweet. We may have been, and they're pretty. We may have been struggling with certain things, but it's okay because God is standing us up. He's standing us up. I hate seeing like pretty women and they're sad. That's what I told my mom. I don't want to be the pretty sad girl anymore because you can see that. It's not emptiness. It's not it's just sad. Like they've been being mean to her whole life, probably because she's so pretty instead of just inside and out, right? Instead of just her knowing she's so pretty and so valuable and just being here makes a difference in the world. I don't know about y'all, but I've always said that I love pretty women, but I, and if I'm a woman and I feel like that, imagine how the rest of the world feels. Like it's not the same with a handsome man. And don't get me wrong, I love a handsome man too. But just think about how kids are with pretty women, girls and boys. Like for girls, she want to be just like you when she grows up. For boys, they already think you're pretty and they want to be with somebody like you when they grow up. And when people get older, you the girl that inspires others and they want to be like you, the girl everybody want to be with. It is something about a pretty woman in this world. And yes, I'm talking about inside and out, but it's kind of like what I did for my Mother's Day talk uh last year. Like being that type of woman in this type of world, it makes a difference. And so I don't want to be a pretty sad woman anymore, and I don't want anybody I'm connected to be pretty and sad and doesn't know her worth and no, no. No, no, and no. God didn't give you that heart. He didn't give you that spirit for you to be out here and people treat you like that. Like you will never be able to control how somebody tries to treat us. Emphasis on tries to treat us, but we can control how we respond to it, how we react to it. And that's the part I had to figure out. The emotional responsibility, the like just protecting myself. Like you, ma'am, no man should be out here talking to you crazy and treating you anything less than how God treats you, making you feel like anything less of a princess, because that's what you are. No man, right? When you're talking about romance, But when you talking about your family, like I was having a real moment yesterday after the live, or it might have been before and after. I was like, okay, let me be realistic. If I had a super pretty big cousin or friend, and I do have a super pretty friend, and I love being around her. She's never gave weird. She's very encouraging to me, and I mean, she's super pretty. It's the one that's on my Instagram when she does hair. She's so pretty. I love being around her. But say the example is because I don't have a big sister. Okay, let me do big sister or big cousin. It don't matter, but just family member. If I had a really super pretty, like physical looks, big cousin or sister, but she was also, and I have to say but because being pretty don't mean nothing. I told y'all that girl at work, she was a very pretty girl to me, but how she treated people made her so ugly to me. Like she just became ugly. Like I would never associate the word pretty with her, even though she's not ugly at all. But her insides are so horrific. I could just never say she was pretty. I cannot because she had so much going on. But say I did have a really pretty sister or big cousin, and she was also very sweet and kind and even the sensitive part, right? And she was very smart and she was very ambitious and encouraging, really all the things that I am. She loved God. She talked about God. She was supportive. If I had a me in my life, I would want to be around her all the time. I would want to learn from her all the time. And I'm pretty positive she would inspire me. I would never be mean to her ever. Like, I would not trying to interfere with her life, sabotage her, try to take what she has, steal from her. That's not my character. I would literally thank God, like, wow, what did I deserve to what did I do to deserve a big sister or a big cousin like that? That is how I would act. And that's how I would move. Brunch, you say? We can go to brunch Saturday? You want to go shopping? Like, I would probably be sad because she has to spend time with her family. Or like, what if you're older and she gets married? I would probably be sad because now she has to be with her husband. Like, can I come over for a sleepover? Like, I know that's how it would be. And I don't know if that gets lost in the sauce with some of my family. Like, it is a thing where they want to be around me and they want to be like me, but it's somehow warped. That could be it. But for if you want to be around me, treating me like that is not going to get you around me. Sorry, that's not how that works. So I don't know if that's what the case is, but that's how I would be because that's how I am. Like even when you think about like the celebrities and stuff that you like, and like I said, that one girl that I've been hyper fixated on, she younger than me, younger than me. I would love to go to brunch with her and just talk. You know what I'm saying? Like and be motivated to like, oh, let me try, let me get myself together, right? And not I don't know who she thinks she is doing all that, like she cute or something. I don't think like she cute or something has ever came out of my mouth. And if it has, it was not in that regard, right? So I just know that's how it would be. But when we think about the celebrities and they're so pretty, and especially the ones that got good hearts, because you can tell a celebrity that got a good heart versus just like she's popular and she may be funny, but she maybe don't have the best heart. But you can tell the ones that have a really, really good heart. That's how I would be. I want to learn from you. Like I told you, my mentors. When I first saw my mentor, when I first saw her, I was like, oh, she pretty. I said, who is this lady? And I did not know who she was. I just randomly saw her in the office. And then they told me to call somebody to help me resolve the issue. And it was her. Like on the team's call, you know how you have like pictures? And I was like, this the girl I seen in the hall. She's so pretty to me. You know how I am? I'm not weird towards her. I don't blow her up, act weird, and just gotta be in her energy. No, but I'd be so happy when she checks on me. I'd be so happy when she calls me. I do check on her from time to time. I'd be so happy when we get to spend time together and I just soak in like what she's teaching me. You know what I'm saying? Like I I thank God for giving me the right heart posture with inspiration and like when I was the little girl, that's what I'm saying. Like pretty women, that's who you want to be. It's this girl to this day. She don't even know this. I be wanting to tell her this on Facebook. When I was in high school, she was the one of the pretty. No, I don't know. I was in high school. My brother was in high school, so I would have been. Let's say he's in 10th grade. If he was in 10th grade, I wouldn't have even been in middle school yet, right? And so I used to go up to the games and stuff. And she was one of the prettiest cheerleaders they had at the time. Oh, also, my nephew's mom, that's how I feel about her. She's very pretty, very smart, very sweet. That's what I say about that's what my sister from another mister. I'm talking about my nephew's mom. Love her real bad. That's how I always felt about her. Like my brother dated somebody that obviously she was older than me, but she was so pretty and she was so sweet, and I wanted to be like her. That's how that's supposed to be. I absolutely wanted to be like her. I've never been mean to her. Never. Never been mean to her. Now, have there been seasons where different things was going on and it was like, well, and I didn't know her? Yeah, because sometimes when you don't know people, you are liable to think certain things about them, or it's easier to believe certain things about them. But I've never done nothing to make her life hard. I've never been mean to her, nothing like that. That's not the point. When I was in high school, though, because this girl is probably her age, or my brother was in high school, this girl is probably her age. I was so infatuated by the cheerleaders, but this one in particular, she was so pretty to me, and I loved watching her cheer. And I was like, I'm gonna be a cheerleader when I get older. And I was a cheerleader. And I remember the first time, and I wanted to be a cheerleader at that school, just like her, because I used to go to those games. My brothers played, when my brother played in high school, this. And I remember that moment of being like, oh, it's like when I was little and I looked up to those girls. Yes. And then me realizing it was little girls in the stands watching me, thinking one day they want to be a cheerleader there. Oh, she's so pretty. She's so sweet. Because I'm telling you, it's one thing when you think somebody's so pretty and then you meet them and it's like, ugh. And then versus she's so pretty and she's sweet to me. She gives me hugs. She calls me sweetie. She calls me baby. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, that's different. She actually cares about me. Like, that's totally different. So, and I think older people, like how I'm saying that girl is younger than me, but I gave her a hug in a dream and I was like, thank you so much. Like, you don't even know how you inspired me to do different. Like, I was telling her all this in a dream. I think older women can want to be like you too. And that age thing, if they're not careful, can make them not like you because they recognize they're inspired by somebody that's younger than you and it makes them mad. Me, no. Like when I tell you this girl is younger than me, I'm 31, she's 21. Yeah, but she got sense. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is inspiring me. This is the attitude I need to have moving forward in life. She's 10 years younger than me. I would never be weird to nobody younger than me, but I wouldn't be weird nobody older than me, hopefully either. But I have so many issues with women that's literally like 60. What is wrong with you? 60 or plus. But I think that's what it is. They look at you and they're like, oh, I wish I would have did this. I wish I would have did this. But I guess because I don't think like that, because once I start thinking like, I wish I would have did this, I know that means right now I need to start doing it so that I'm not mean or bitter or upset. Because that's usually regret that's coming in. I might need to share that word I made about regret, but that's usually regret coming in. And so now you don't like them, you're mad at them, but really you're mad at yourself. You're mad that you weren't resilient. You're mad that you didn't bounce back. You're mad that you didn't pursue your walk with Christ like this. You mad because you didn't go after your dreams. And so you're mad at me because I'm trying my best to be my best self every day. You're mad at me because, yeah, that man dogged me out, but I got back up. He dogged you out and you didn't get back up. That's why you're mad at me. And that is not cool. You mad at me because you let all the stuff they did to you, because a lot of people that's mean to you, they did go through stuff too. But you're mad at me because you turned into what hurt you. And I've been fighting like crazy to not turn into what hurt me. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's why they're upset. But that's a personal accountability thing too. That's why I'm like, I would never, if I see a young girl pursuing her dreams, I'm like, dang, I wish I would have did that when I was 14. Okay, well, you need to get moving. Like now, at whatever age you are. And I encourage everybody younger to do that because I recognize I wish I would have did that. So what am I doing? I'm telling my niece, start now. I've been telling my nephew for years, start now, because I know how I feel at my age and I wish I would have started earlier. So I'm going to tell y'all start earlier. Something my mama said, and I was glad she said it because I was thinking it. Some people, because of that, they will tell you to do what got them in a spot they don't even want to be in. So imagine me knowing I wish I would have started doing this at 14. And my nephew is coming to me at 14, even though he's not 14, because I've been telling him, start now, do it now. And he's wondering, like, should I do this? And he needs my support and motivation. And I say, nah, I think you should wait. I think you should give it a while. Knowing dang well, I wished I would have started at his age. It's people that move like that because they don't have it, because they didn't do it. They don't want you to do it. It's a lot of relationships. It's a lot of things. Because something happened the other day, and I don't think it was malicious, but I told her in that moment, I was like, you trying to set me up, because I can actually obtain this, I can attain this, obtain, I can actually do this. But because for you it's like this, you're trying to put me in that same boat. Even with my friends, and I knew that when they got they're not my gosh, I talk so much. When certain people in my life got pregnant, and I remember this one day, and that's what I'm saying. It's not with all things. I have sense in a lot of areas, but some instances I let what people say get to me, and they were just like, "You should have a baby. You should have a baby. Come on, have a baby." And I was like, "Why would I have a baby?" And I see how y'all are struggling. Why? Why would I have a baby? And then it became a thing of, like, do you think having a baby is going to slow you down? And then I realized, like, you was trying to slow me down. That's why you were trying to encourage me to do that. Oh wow. And you wish you would have did things differently. So if you wish you would have did things differently, why are you trying to encourage me to be in your spot? My biggest fear is ending up where you should be. People really do that. I don't know if they do it on purpose. I told my little baby today, sixth grade drama with the boys. Yeah, let that go. Because I don't want you to be 31 and you thinking it's okay. No, some people will encourage you to stay in jacked up situations. Some people will encourage you to leave good situations because they left theirs and they regret it. Just like when I was making certain words, and I would tell y'all that. Like I could tell how some people were acting in the comments like you mad because one, you wish your girl would have forgave you the way I'm sitting over here and I'm like, I forgive him for whatever. I don't even care. You mad about that. You want people to all end up in your boat. Or you're trying to convince people to stay in toxic, jacked up situations because you want your partner or your baby mom, whatever, to stay in a jacked up, toxic situation with you. No, I ain't like that. I am not like that. I could be not working out in my heaviest and I'll still wake up and encourage somebody who on their fitness journey. And I'm not doing it. That's just how I'm built. That's just how I am. But other people, no, I don't think you should pursue your dream. I don't think you should go for that ever in my life came out of my mouth. And then it's also people, and that's why my mama cousin got cut off. How are you gonna actively be trying to talk me and my friend that got cut off, her too? How are you gonna be actively trying to talk me out of content, making content? You mad because I dreamt about this? She thinks the whole internet is hers. Hilarious. How are you going to be actively trying to talk me out of that and simultaneously trying to encourage your child to do it? That's a whole different type of destiny swap. Anybody ever tried to destiny swap and it ain't even them? They try, and I kept dreaming about her trying to have her daughter live my life. I didn't know why I was dreaming that. But I wake up from the dreams like, she can't beat me. I didn't know that was destiny swap. I was literally dreaming that. So how are you going to actively try to talk me out of something, but then you also trying to pursue it while actively trying to talk me out of it? That means they find you threatening and intimidated. And it goes just back to that dream I had in January where my aunt was telling me to get out the way because I was messing it up for her daughter. Huh? When I was fasting, that's what I dreamt. Nah, because you shining is taking attention from my baby and making it harder for my baby because now she got to compete with you. You messed up the moment you thought she had to compete with me. Get out of my face. Blocked because you don't want me to do it, but you also learning how to do it by watching me. Oh, I got you. Blocked. And that's a prime example of I can imagine being her husband. Like, dang, I married somebody that's hating on her 30-year-old cousin that's younger than her. I I wouldn't be with you. I would not be with you. That's weird. But somebody could be thinking I do weird things. I understand that. But me personally, as a man, and I find out you hating on your little cousin that ain't never did nothing to you, that's always been sweet to us, that's always been supportive of us, and you hating on her and you also doing stuff to her spiritually? No, absolutely not. I don't want to be with nobody that act like that. So it's crazy out here. But people, older ladies been hating on me since I was little though. That wasn't just a because I'm 30 now thing. Yeah, being independent and taking care of myself didn't help, but they was hating even when I was young. And I just don't understand that. I love all my babies at church. I love my teenage babies at church. I try to make sure that they know chase their dreams, be great. Yeah, I want to inspire them, but I let them know they inspire me too. You know what I'm saying? Like I never want to be weird about anything. And I just can't imagine I just can't imagine knowing God blessed the bloodline with something or somebody. And it's not me saying I'm God's gift to the world or gift to my family, not like that. But I can't imagine God like seeing like how I told you about my little cousin because she's not even 10. And I was dreaming about her the other day and God was showing me different things. I cannot imagine knowing that about them, knowing how it feels to be around them, knowing how talented they are, knowing how sweet they are. Not perfect, right? But and knowing God's gonna do big things in them. And I try to get in their way. Why would I try to get in their way? That's a good look for us. I hope you do make it. And when you do, like say they marry a celebrity or athlete or something, can I get a ticket to the game? But not being that person that's just sticking around. Well, there's some people who that's the other word I gotta talk about. The supportive people, they do want you to get there, but it's so that they can leech off of you and kind of control it. It's not for purely genuine reasons. And you have to recognize that as well. They want to be able to influence you, how you move in that spot. We see that on movies and stuff all the time. All of the time. All of the time. And something that always breaks my heart, and God was highlighting that to me. I was like, who jealous? Because I cut everybody off. So I don't know who would be doing all this. But Selena's the lady that killed Selena, and she was like in charge of her fan club, and she killed her. Real life. Killed her. I have not watched Selena since the last time I watched Selena because I fell out. And I was like, I be dealing with this type of level of jealousy. Like literally. And that's just that's too much to me. Like, why are you that close to me and you trying to kill me? Who does that? If I genuinely do not like somebody, why would I be around them? Why would I go out my way to integrate myself into their life? Why would I do that? And so they can have close proximity to perpetrate wickedness. That's the extreme. But then other people want to be able to influence and control. And a lot of people, because I told y'all, I deal with men that are, popular in my opinion, well known in my opinion. And I've always seen that with them. Like I'm able to scan the people they got around them. And it's like, oh yeah, homeboy knows you're going big places and he wants you to take him big places. And so he wants to use your influence to get where he wants to go. That's manipulation. And that's not a true friend. And I see that easily. I see it with one of them. I was just telling my mom this. It was one of his older family members that was doing that to him. And I was like, you don't realize that he knows that you're going to bring the attention and the girls, the hoes, whatever. He knows you're going to bring that. You're going to bring even opportunity and stuff. And so he get in your ear and he control and manipulates you. He invites you. He wants you around. He try to be out closer to you because of your God-given influence. And he manipulates that. And then not only that, he puts you in compromising situations that you could have totally avoided and you still would have had the girls. It's not about that. That's just what I'm saying because that's just what I see when I do with them. But you still would have had the popularity, the opportunities. You would still have all of that without him. He would not have any of that without you. And the problem is he knows that and he's manipulating who you are and he's trying to control where you sit, what you do, so it benefits him. He wouldn't be in those spaces without you. Not at all. Not you funding that for him. Because sometimes we see funding as like just money. It's not just money. You doing that for him. You bringing out all the people to support his endeavor and stuff. And in the meantime, you're getting called further away from the people you're supposed to be with. You're getting called further away from your actual destiny. And you trying to position him, put him, that's a Haman, really. That's a Haman. And I have girls who do that with me. I know man gonna go somewhere. So I'm no, I don't even have no friends no more for real. It's hard. I don't even trust people that one like, did you genuinely love me when I was 8? Like that's kind of how I be feeling. Like, did you? Because I really don't trust nobody at this point in my life. Now, it's some people I've met later in life, and I absolutely do trust them and love them. But you have to be careful with that. Like, you only around me so I can help pull you up. And then the same people you pull them up, they're gonna switch up. And then the same people who y'all have a misunderstanding, they're gonna still try to get fame and popularity off you because they're gonna be on the internet talking about it. People do that. People do that. My cousins that got cut off doing that. You ain't getting attention right now because you're trying me. If you was trying anybody, why don't you just talk about your life? But talking about your life ain't gonna get you no attention. You got to bring me into some mess. Because even when you bringing me in it negatively, it's giving you more attention. You get what I'm saying? People really move like that. And I'm over here just trying to mind my business. I will never forget that last year. They was doing the most, and I was binging Marvel movies. Like, I know y'all not bothering me with this right now. I know y'all are not bothering me with this right now. I'm trying to watch Iron Man. Because they bored. They ain't got nothing going on with their life. It's crazy. Be yourself. Run it up with just being yourself. But they can't because they don't have God-given influence. So they're trying to steal yours. They're trying to cipher yours. They're trying to manipulate yours. They're trying to, what's the word? Extort. Is it? It might not be extort. They're trying to. It's not extort, I don't think. They're trying to. What is the word? Exploit. I'm like, it's not extort. It's exploit. They're trying to exploit. And exploit means, and you fall victim to that when I'm briefly mentioning all these other words that I've typed out or wrote out, but we fall victim to that. Exploit is a term where it takes advantage of a vulnerability. So if you are vulnerable to doing things alone, you haven't learned how to do things alone. Because I know I made some content lately that was saying like isolation is actually toxic. It is. Isolation is a trauma response. So that's not resilient. People who shut down and push away the people that are important to them when life get hard, that is a trauma response. That's a difference than solitude. I've been in solitude the last year, not dealing with nobody, not talking to nobody for real. Like I just started interacting with people again, like in July when I cut all my family off. But I feel like the devil, well, the rest of my family off. That was a additional phase. But I feel like the devil was playing on that vulnerability at that time because I only really even started dealing with people again because I was going through a lot. And so in my mind, like I don't have family, I don't have people. That's how I felt. And so that's when the devil will send you people that's he's gonna move through, right? But if you have this fear of being alone, like solitude is one thing. I ain't scared to be alone. I've been in solitude. Isolation is different, right? Like why you not talking to me? Like what? And that's somebody that means something to you, somebody you love, somebody you building and growing and stuff with. Like, I'm sorry, come again? Like that's different versus me because I really be needing to cut legitimate people off. And I never want them to feel like, oh, she's just doing that thing where like I'm not coming back. I hope a lot of people understand this. I'm not coming back to fool with you. That's not what this was. That was the decision to like clean turkey, cold turkey, clean cut. I'm not talking to you right anymore. Like I will isolate from people I have no business dealing with. They are triggering that trauma response in me, and I don't even realize that's what's happening, right? Or also dealing with a lot of men where they have a lot of Jezebels and Delilahs around them. And so in their spirit, they're picking up on somebody being with some crazy stuff, right? And for some reason, because we got them wires crossed, it's always, well, if I stop talking to Megan, my life is going to get better. And then they stop talking to me and their life don't get better. And they're like, okay, well, it wasn't Megan. I could have told you it wasn't me. I don't come in nobody's life that energy. Who has needed to cut me off? I need to figure that out because I'm so unproblematic. Who needed to cut me off? Unless he was trying to move on and be with a girl and he couldn't handle me being his friend because he liked me. Who needed to cut me off? Do you understand what I'm saying? So I've been experiencing that a lot over the years because I feel so they feel drained and pulled and used and like they're feeling that spiritually, but instead of identifying who the real problem is, like first of all, your trifling baby mama is making you feel like that. That's infested with the spirit of Jezebel. This other girl who you tricking on and she just wants you for your money, she's making you feel like that. And so when any of them make you feel like that, you don't want to talk to me either. Now, how's that fair? Right? Like that's not fair. But that's what happens because they feel it going on. And so I'm just gonna not deal with everybody. They recharge back up and now they want to deal with everybody at the same time again. And then these two heifers are doing the same thing to you again, sir. And then when they deplete you entirely, what you gonna do? You gonna isolate from me again? Friend, not a friend. I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna play these games with you. Just like when you talking to multiple people and it's like, if one mess up, then I don't want to talk to none of y'all. I used to be like that. I did. Used to be like that, right? Like, it's just levels of this. But anyways, the Jezebels and the Delilahs in their life, and they feel drained and all of this. There's a difference in isolation and solitude. Isolation is trauma. Solitude is really like, I don't need to be around y'all. But I was saying the devil preys on all that because if you're still struggling with that and he knows you won't want to do things alone, you don't want to be alone, then he's going to exploit that vulnerability. Absolutely going to exploit that. The other way with me, I think, is because feeling like, oh, I don't have no friends, I don't have no family. And so you just settle for any old. No. What was the other thing I was going to say? Exploiting that. Oh, he will exploit your unawareness of who you are. Like once you realize, like, oh, it's lit, I'm gonna be like this regardless. Cause I've been telling my mom that I'm like, you know what I just realized? It's me. Like I thought this whole time my little cousin was super supportive and loving towards me because of the situation that he knew about here, and he was popular and a lot of people knew him. I thought he was fooling me because of that. No, I don't even fool that boy no more, and he's still showing me a lot of love. I'm like, oh, it's me. It's me. Got it. It had nothing to do with old boy. And my mom was like, you know, you look cute with whoever you with. You gonna always make whoever you stand beside look good. You're right. It's me, and I'm this same Megan in every relationship. Silly, funny, trying to make content. It's me. It was never about the man. It's me. Now, can you be with your kingdom spouse and then take it up a notch? Absolutely. I'm never going to negate that. I'm never going to act like that's not a thing. We can absolutely do that. And hopefully y'all both take it up a notch for both of y'all. But when you don't know who you are, the devil will do that too. So now you're in these agreements and alignments with people. And it's like I said, my one friend, the instance I'm thinking of, without old buddy that I know is manipulating and controlling him, y'all are two different people. My friend is still going to have the opportunities, the popularity, the influence. He's still going to have all that no matter who is around him, no matter what girl he's dating, no matter who he kicking it with. That's just who he is. That's how God made him. He is going to always be like that. You, on the other hand, he was putting you on the map. He was bringing you in rooms and places you never would have entered without him, ever. You get what I'm saying? And so when you don't know who you are, and like you really confident about where God is calling you to be, and you realize like you're getting there without no other body. Like if it's just you and God, you're gonna get there. That's not to say that we don't have destiny connectors and all that, but if that's really your destiny, you don't need nobody else to get there. Now, that's also not to say that your wife not going to be influential in helping you get there, but that's a different type of relationship than your uncle or cousin or fraud of a friend, and it's making it seem like y'all making all these plays, making all these moves together, and you can get the audio. But baby, they holding you up. They are holding you up. You are not where you're supposed to be. They've been slowing you down this whole time because where you're called is not where they are called. Your spouse is called to the same spot as you. That's why that will never be like that. Because they are called to sit there with you. Them fake friends, fake family members, all that. Some of them really are not called to be in that same spot with you. So until you realize like you are the one that's supposed to be there and you gonna be there regardless, I've been working on that. I'm like, you told me this whole time I was lit. This whole time I was lit, God. Yes, it was never who you dated, who's used. It was you, baby. And ask me how I know, because I haven't been dealing with nobody, associating with nobody for this last year. And guess what? I'm still Megan, which means it was me. It was my walk with God. It was me. And that is good. I think that's good to cut everybody off and realize that. And then when you have people in your life, that's when you assess like, are you taking away from all this stuff that I already knew and I was doing? Or are you adding to it in a legitimate way? Because sometimes we think we are on some quid pro quo stuff. Like, it's really not that. They know that they are sucking you dry spiritually. And keep it. I think it's really important to know literally what your destiny is, because it could feel like progress, but it's not really how fast and stuff it could be. It's not really where you could be. Like you may be somewhere, and that somewhere to them is a big deal. But that's somewhere for you, that's not even hitting on where you're really gonna be. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, or where you really could be. So I think that's really important to realize because the devil definitely exploits those vulnerabilities. So maybe next week we'll assess what we think our vulnerabilities are, right? You with a no good man because you want to be married so bad. Okay, well, he gonna send you something that's gonna really play on that vulnerability. You don't need to have no vulnerabilities. You need to be good with you and God. And I thank God for that because I didn't intentionally try to just be single and focus on myself, but I could just tell that's what was supposed to be happening. And I'm glad we did that because it's like, okay. Because if I'm dealing with somebody, I'm not going to take the time and I'm not going to have the time to sit here and think about all these things the way that I have. And that's a fact. Now, I don't like when people be like, I lose myself in a relationship. That's why I think it's important. You know who you are before you get in one. And you know where you're going before you get in one. Like people who say that, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know where they're going. They haven't identified a whole lot of things. Okay. Okay, I got to eat. Oh, you typed it in here. Kiki said exploit. Another payment method. You don't have to use PayPal, I don't think. Maybe you do. I should know that on top of my head. You can send it to one of my. You can Cash App me. I was about to say, but don't, because my Cash App is in one of my videos in the description box. Don't Venmo me though. Even though I had that in there. Don't Venmo me. I gotta eat. My stomach making all types of noise. All I've had today is a brownie. Yeah, I think the only other thing you can do, Kiki, is Cash App. And I don't feel like typing all this stuff in. I'll write you on Snapchat. Okay. Oh, it already came through. I'm so sorry. When is it? Ugg restock something, y'all. They need to stop texting me. Okay, I got it, Kiki. I don't have the. Did not, child. Y'all, I'm trying to get my life together. Face ID. Face ID. Face ID again. Oh my God, they keep asking me for the Face ID. Don't ask me for it again. Oh, y'all finna make me mad. I just did that. Ah! Okay. I just did Face ID like 4 times. I have the alert that I have an appointment. It should have worked. Oh, thank you so much. God bless you. I've really enjoyed this week. I was gonna tell y'all after that last live, I've seen stuff that was confirming it, and I was like, "That's I never want that to get old." Like, thank you, God. Okay, I got it, Kiki. Thank you, girl. And then, hey, do you get reminder texts? Because I was going through, like my notifications, and I had selected reminds them that they have an appointment. Like I know if I go get my hair or something done, it tells me like, "Hey, don't forget you have an appointment with such and such tomorrow." Do you get that when you book coaching? You should. I hope you do. Do you remember? It's probably been a while. But do you get a text before the appointment? And I don't know if they just added that to my plan. I'm pretty sure I selected when I went in the other day to text y'all though. Just let me know because I know those reminders be clutch. I gotta go eat. All right, y'all. You don't? Okay, I'm gonna go back in and check that. That's weird. All right, anything else, y'all? I definitely need to go eat. Let's be great this week. I really do feel like a brand new person. I feel like I'm getting my body back. I'm so excited about so many things, and I don't know, just cutting off the right people. I was so scared to cut people off. I don't know why, but like I said, nobody wants to cut off certain people, especially when you're talking about family. But my life has been, there's no denying how much better it's been. Like my mood drastically improved. I immediately had clarity. That was before even fasting. So when I fasted since doing that, and I'm like, okay, there we are. But I didn't realize how being back around them and giving them too much access to me was affecting me, because some people, it don't really bother me that you have bad intentions towards me, you follow me on social media, but I was actually like legitimately being around people and I was like, no, I can't do that. Okay, I'm gonna go in and check on that, Kiki. But yeah, don't be scared. God answers prayers like sincerely. I know he does. And he's just good. He's faithful. I'm thinking about different things I prayed. He may not even answer how you think he's going to answer it. You may be asking him for this, but because he knows you were sincerely asking him for this, he is going to do these other steps you may not have been aware of. But these are the steps that you need to complete so that you can have what you asked him for. And I feel like that's what a lot of this year was. Like, you asked me for this, you asked me for this. No, daughter, you did not know that I was going to have to break your heart in this way for this. You did not know that you was going to have to go through this or relive this, whatever it may be. You didn't know you was going to have time away from certain things. You didn't know that, but that was all to answer your original prayer for this. And just trust that he knows what he's doing. Because I tell my mom that all the time. I'm like, God, I really know what he's doing. She's like, no, you think? And I'm like, no, like he really does. I'm grateful for everything that has happened, everything that's played out, how it played out, when it played out, with who it played out. That's what I put on Facebook. I'm glad you betrayed me, how you betrayed me, when you did, with who you did. Like I really am, because you need to know who don't need to be around you. You need to know who not coming in the palace. You need to know people's hearts towards you. And he always exposes before he elevates. And I knew that type of betrayal. I was like, how you gonna bless me? Because ain't no way that just happened like without no reason. Like I've been walking with you for a long time. Ain't no way. Ain't no way that just happened. You're not gonna bless me, God. Yeah, I might have had snakes in my house, but it's lessons learned. So then when I'm around the people that really do mean the most to me, and the man and the children that really do mean the most to me, I ain't gonna just be letting no snakes up in the house. I learned that lesson. I'm thankful for how I learned lessons with who I learned them with. I'm thankful I didn't have to go through super crazy stuff with people I love the most. Like, actually, I'm glad I had to deal with that in those people. I'm glad I had to have those experiences with that. I don't want to go through that with people. Like, no, because I'm big softy, big tenderoni over here. Like, I love you too much, baby, to go through this crazy stuff with you. That's me. I'm glad I went through the crazy stuff with the wrong men. Because it would break my heart to go through this type of stuff. It would break my heart to go through the type of um having to be there and he have to learn certain lessons, certain traumas and all that. Like, nah, I'm glad God waited. I'm glad God, he know what he doing and he know when he's doing it. Thank you, God. So let's all thank him for that going into this week, okay? Yeah, because I don't want that. I don't want them. Kiki, I wasn't cutting y'all off. I was cutting my family off. That's different. I had never cut off my YouTube family. Or this is like a community. That's the word everybody like to use. I would never cut that off because this is like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And I get love back and I'm pouring it. And I didn't want to cut off my family, but I had to. I don't want to say people too far gone, but it's like, nah, what I got going on really is too important. I told you that's my breakup line. What I got going on is too important for this. You can't be having me looking at myself sideways because I'm allowing you to do that, right? But I can't be around people that's going out their way to make it harder for me to do the things that God has called me to do. It's lives attached to what God has called me to do on all the platforms. It's girls who need to see what I'm talking about. Young, it's women older. They need to see this. I cannot keep being around you. Y'all, I dreamt my family member was mad. Did I tell y'all this last night? I don't even remember. I dreamt they was mad that I had, like, basically, you can't treat me like that no more. And they retaliated and interfered with my marriage. And I was like, what? God, what? What? So I'm not playing games like that. And me and my parents, I'm like, y'all think I'm playing. They is not invited. If I have anything where people are invited, I don't care what I'm talking about, a wedding, a baby shower, a business, I don't care what I'm talking about. If I cut you off, you're not coming. You're not coming. What I look like inviting family members that was literally praying I never get married to my wedding. What I look like inviting a girl who done tried to sleep behind me, right? Why would she be there? Why would she be at the wedding? You done try to fool with nearly every dude you know I done fool with. You're not coming. Everybody need to be for real. And then when you talk about my children, you made it seem like I bothered you, my existence bothered you. Why would you in your life meet my children? Why? That's what I was trying to tell my mama now. I'm having problems with one of your cousins, Pooh. You telling me you ain't never had no problems with her? Because why do I have problems with her? That's your cousin, not mine. Well, she's my cousin, but she was your cousin first. You should never had that girl around me. But I don't know. I do feel like people maybe get bitter as they get older. I don't know. But my kids, y'all better stop playing. They be yelling and screaming at who babies, trying to break who baby's spirit. Whose? You think anybody that doesn't? I was trying to tell my mom and that if they don't like your kid, they don't like you, and that's biblical. God says that. You hate your brother and sister, but you love me. Shut up. That's basically what the scripture says. I was trying to tell my mom and that. You don't like their kids, but you like them. No, that ain't even logical. Absolutely not. Now, you like their kids and you don't like them? That's possible, I guess. If their kids is cool and the parents is not cool. It depends on the circumstances. But ain't nobody, and yeah, that's what it is. You can't not like somebody's kids and their kids they never did nothing to you. And you want to live their kids' life, but you telling me you like me. Nah, that's not gonna work. Now, but I can't like your kid if your kid cool and you not cool. That is a thing. And that's why people who have treated me the worst, I'm still allowed to be around everybody's kids. Ain't nobody ever said I couldn't be around their kids. Ain't nobody, like, you get what I'm saying? Like, why do you trust your kids around me then? If I'm such a problem, because I'm not. You the problem. And I have too many little cousins who have told me out their own mouths they know their mamas is the problem. So you not finna be, kids ain't stupid. But what I'm not gonna do is when I know I ain't did nothing to you and I have kids and you think you're gonna be around my kids. For what? Because then the type of people, like grandmas who try to, well, I guess not really grandmas, moms, well, they're grandmas to the kids, but moms who don't like their daughters, they're jealous of their daughters. And so they get in their grandkids' ears and try to turn the grandkids against their own mama, which is their daughter. People do stuff like that. People do stuff like that all the time. I got my mama cousin and my cousin try to make Morgan not like me and turn Morgan against me. Like I'm Morgan's op. Why would you ever be around my kids? If you do that with my own sister, why would I ever let you be around my kids? You can be trying to tell my kids not to like me. Now, I don't think that'll work. I'm too real, right? But it was too real for it to work with my sister too. But it's just like something be wrong with people. I'm not playing games like that. I be darned. I'm not playing games like that. Not with my husband, not with my kids. Like I said in the first live, since I've been back, I'll probably fight you about my husband or my kids. I'm not doing that. You hate my guts, but I can watch your kids. You hate my guts, but I can be around your kids. That's how you know there's something wrong with them. Because if I don't like you, you're not finna be around mine. Because I don't like you for a legitimate reason. You hate me just because you just woke up and wanted to. Like, girl, bye. Be for real. But yeah, no, I didn't want to do that. And I'm also like, I don't like explaining that to people. You know how weird it is when you get to know people and like dates or whatever, and they're asking you about those different things, and you're like, yeah. And my narcissistic ex traumatized me with that because when I was really trying to be real with him and tell him, like, no, I actually do have a good amount of problem with my family. And he was like, well, it must be you. You must be bragging. No, you a hater, a loser. I should have known that first time he said something like that. I should have known that. I ain't bragging. I got no bragging bone in my body. My daddy whooped us or stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't brag. I do not brag. Now, do you perceive it as that because you hating? You might. But no, I should have known that. And I don't know. It's embarrassing to me. I told y'all, people think I'd be mad and sad about one thing. No, I'm sad because this is how y'all act. And y'all supposed to be related to me. And I got to tell people that. Ugh, that's so nasty. Like, yeah. And then, oh, and something else. Stephanie's tried to talk about this, but I've watched this in real time the last week. If people always associate, this is the last thing I gotta say because I gotta eat. If people always know that you are associated with some level of drama, it's easy for people to believe, well, oh, you must be the problem. I was thinking about the family group chat, and whenever messages aren't going through, it's because me or Morgan blocked somebody. Now, to some people on the outside looking in, you may think me and Morgan are the problem. Whole time, it's always a heifer have a problem with us, and we end up blocking them from our phone. It's never me and Morgan. Like, you started it, but I'm gonna finish it. I'm gonna block you. So it's always something with Megan and Morgan. It really is because y'all full of crap. It is. It's always something y'all coming up with for Megan and Morgan. That's why you're getting blocked. It's not Megan and Morgan just waking up and deciding to have a problem with people. It's you got a problem with me and now I'm going to handle it. But I did see a post that said they started it and God going to finish it. Exactly. But it's always like that. So if you always got to say, well, oh, and then this friend, and then this happened with this friend, and then this happened at church, and this happened at church, it's easy for people, especially people who don't want to like you, to think you the problem when the actuality is I bring out the weirdo in everybody. Been saying that. Been saying it. So I ain't just falling out with people because it's fun. What? Who does that for a sport? People just doing too much. That's what that is. Okay. All right. I love y'all. I'll see you later. Happy Sunday. Bye, Kiki. I'll talk to you later.